Welcome to Valley Strange, episode number 2. Haunted. I'm not gonna say number 2. That sounds like dude. Doo-doo.
Dookie. The best.
Welcome to Valley Strange, episode 2. Haunted schools.
The strangening.
You still said 2. The restranging.
Why didn't you say number 2?
Oh.
I wasn't gonna say number 2 because that sounds like doo-doo.
Aha.
And we don't want people associating us with that.
No.
Well, the other podcasts already probably have that association.
We're classy here.
Yeah.
No Duke jokes.
Okay, so today we're gonna be talking about general haunted schools. And Roland's acting like we're fucking doing like an anatomy mixtape or fast food for some reason. Anyways, that was the beer, right?
Sorry.
We shouldn't have given him any alcohol, guys.
Serious face.
It's gonna fuck us all up.
I took a few shots before, so you couldn't stop.
Oh, really?
Just to kill the fear.
Yeah,
You know?
found some. Yeah, exactly. Kill the fear. Man, I should go
Kill
for
all the fear.
I should go for another one.
Bring the bottle over here, man.
Actually, there's some J&B over there if you want to
Oh,
sip
right.
on some of that.
really?
I had some of that earlier too. It's pretty.
Is that a fucking shampoo bottle you got in there?
No, that's actually
flask.
one of those cheap flasks that they sell.
Oh, okay.
Well, it doesn't
got
look like a sun. It doesn't look like a sunblock bottle, so I guess.
Yeah. SPF 40%.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Okay, so haunted schools. I'm gonna read the script here.
All right.
And did you look at it by chance? You didn't, right?
I
Did you
did.
send it to me?
Yeah, I did.
Then I did look at it.
Rio
Did
Grande
you send it
Valley
to me?
and beyond?
And beyond, yeah. Okay, so
Zip.
it seems that the Rio Grande Valley is subject to most every square inch being haunted in one way or another, from everyone's grandma knowing a second cousin who saw La Llorona 10 years ago to the I saw something at the corner of my eye guy. But no other haunting is more terrifying personally than schools.
Personally.
Personally for school. That's aesthetically it looks
Square
more
inch and corner of the eye. Sorry.
Not sorry.
I was gonna ask a question before we got started. When it comes to the aesthetics of a haunted school, what do you all think that looks like?
I would say abandoned. I mean, I don't know. For me, has anyone gone, if they're going up north, you have to, right? But if you're going on 77 or even 281, when you get to it's like Three Rivers, there's that abandoned school. I think it's in Three Rivers, or maybe it's in George West. Maybe it's even before that. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like close to Dairy Queen.
Well, I passed by that
place.
I passed by there multiple
You know
times.
where
I
it's
just
at,
don't
Bryan?
know.
Oh, yeah, I know where
you're
that's
talking
at. That's totally in Fremont.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
about to ask, it sounds like...
Yes, but every time I
I
pass
know
that place,
you
I'm
spent
like,
some
I
time
want to
up
go
there.
in there because that thing looks so fucking haunted, man. It's just off the side of the highway, and it's like it's all intact, everything, but it's just.
Actually, I think they still use that school.
Well, they do. It looks so abandoned. Well, anyways, every time I go, right?
Old.
They use that school every day.
Old as shit, so...
They still teach classes.
It's all dirty and shit.
Fremont has a school.
Zool's 3rd grade class is going on every day.
Sorry, Fremont.
What about you, Roland? What does a haunted school look like, ideally to you?
When I think about it, I mean, about the same. Just something that's just beat to hell and abandoned, and nobody's there. There's just for some reason they always keep a skeleton crew or whatever. So you might see a camera or
There's like a security guard just
exactly.
walking
Just
around
one
with one flashlight.
guy.
No gargoyles. Dracula's hanging out. Skeletons.
Sounds very comfy. It's good stuff.
What about you, Bryan?
A haunted school? Well,
Ideally, what does it look like to you? I mean, I know, we just said it was abandoned.
Ghosts?
I was just going to say they're usually, it's going to be an old... Yeah, I'll get into that. I will. Usually, you're going to be thinking of an older building, maybe dilapidated, maybe not. It could still be in use. I've observed some stuff in buildings that were still in use.
All right.
You're talking about the Edinburgh campus kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Which is
old
as fuck.
No. I've got another part in the new building.
I used to work at the shipping and receiving over at the university back when they had just started converting it from the
The Hager plant?
The Hager plant, yeah. And so that was when they still had all the restrooms in there, the old.
There are no restrooms at shipping and receiving anymore.
No. It's the whole place has been
What's
renovated.
the Hager plant? Is that cooling? Do they still have that cooling area?
Yeah.
Well,
It's like
they
that
have
full,
cooling
like,
plant, but
Yeah, I saw the cooling plant.
Oh,
no, the Hager plant
it's
was
off the
actually
expressway.
it's off the expressway.
Edinburgh.
It was where they actually used to make Hager clothing.
Right.
Oh,
yeah, it used to be.
okay.
And there were
Really?
there
Yeah,
were
I was
several of them down here in the valley. There was one in Weslaco, one in Edinburgh, and I think maybe another one.
There was one. I don't know if it was Hager actually. I know there was something like that in Ed Couch. I had some family that worked in one of them.
And then Hager
Might have just been a blue jean factory. I'm not sure.
Hager just pulled out of the pulled manufacturing out of the U.S. and closed.
Yeah.
It was a big news
And
story back in the day.
The university
Hager was down here.
bought that place and converted it into surplus storage. I worked there for about a year, and it was the best. But that whole place was run down as fuck.
Yeah.
Before they renovated it, you could see the. I mean, they had a lot of stories into that too. I'll just mention it later. Didn't mean to. Go ahead there, Bryan. So.
Oh no, I mean I just usually it's going to be an older building with usually.
Yeah.
Of course, the older buildings actually had architecture too.
And asbestos.
Good old asbestos. Fibrous and flame retardant.
It just builds hair on your lungs.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel it. It's making me strong. Cancer.
Mesothelioma.
Okay, so again, we'll get into more of how the schools look, because I mean, there's a few schools here that are considered to be haunted. Some of them are still in use. Some of them are abandoned. So before we get into it, I completely forgot to introduce everyone. I'm your host, Ray, and then we have...
Me, Roland.
Bryan.
Bryce.
And Bryan is actually first timer at Valley Strange. We've only had one episode, so I mean, whatever. He is also been a contributor to Anatomy Mixtape, Fat Food for Fat People.
Mokuest, a progenitor, right? When was this? When was it all started again? About
20 years ago. It's like 2009.
20 years ago.
I was going to say
Yeah.
2008, 2009.
I was
2008,
thinking
2009.
When
Damn.
David contracted us to do something for him and never paid us and didn't use it.
Well, he did give us the...
Oh, yeah, he did.
sorry.
No,
I was gonna
he
say,
didn't want to pay.
Yeah.
The way,
he
the
didn't
way
want
you
to-
use contracted
There's a lot
in
of
that
things contracted
sentence-
from Ray.
Exactly. Thank you. I was gonna say like the way you throw that out there made it sound like we're some kind of STD that just fucking glommed
Well,
on
I mean...
to- yes.
Come on.
Yeah.
You've got the Mokuest.
Full blown Mokuest.
The Mokuest.
Okay,
Just hit it
so...
with the shampoo.
Yeah.
So first, we're going to get into the top schools in Texas where they rank the top 50 schools around the world that are haunted. And the first school we're going to get into very briefly is the University of North Texas, and that is in Denton.
Okay.
And that is
let's say North
number
Texas.
48 as most haunted school in the world.
48.
Wow.
That is correct. And we have an article here that we will link up in our episode description. It says the University of North Texas is home to odd sightings and apparitions, as well as strange, blood-curdling sounds from out of nowhere. Could be a dog, for God's sakes. At least according to legends. Bruce Hall, UNT's oldest residence hall, houses a mural in its lobby to chronicle the alleged ghost stories. The pool hall is dedicated to the infamous Wanda, who, according to an age-old tale, was a young 1950 student who snuck herself into the attic to hide her pregnancy. Different versions of the urban legend point to the different ways that Wanda died, including through an abortion gone wrong.
So
everywhere in the valley.
yeah.
While UNT insists no record of a Wanda exists, people who have had run-ins with the supernatural, from doors mysteriously shutting on their own to an inexplicable spooky presence, have no doubt UNT's Bruce Hall is haunted. We haven't gotten any verification on whether or not UNT is haunted, or anyone who's had any sort of personal experiences. So we're taking this list at face value. And has anyone ever visited UNT?
Nah.
Nope.
I've done it
Visited-
once. Since I lived in the area.
Once.
No.
I was about
Visited TWU.
What's TW?
Texas Women
Oh
University.
damn! Sorry, I can't scroll through it. I have low battery.
Oh, terrible.
Damn. Such.
And another Texas school that is in the top 50 of schools haunted around the world is Texas State University.
Oh, shit. Go Bobcats.
is.
The number of Texas State University students has reached 38,000, but the campus residents' ghosts don't seem to be daunted by this number. Professors and students tell tales of bizarre sounds of an old Maine, the university's oldest building. The Starry Hall, or Scary Starry to students, is where the ghost of a young girl
Christ.
is said to roam during the night.
Scary
ghost-
Stary?
Scary Starry.
It's not Scary Terry.
No, Scary Starry.
Yeah.
Because, I mean...
Who the fuck's name Starry? I mean, yeah.
I don't fucking know, man.
No,
Why
I'm-
don't you- why don't you-
Stairs
sorry,
are
this is-
scary,
this
man.
is
They're
a-
trying to make a
Oh,
rhyme
there
out
we
of
go.
it.
I like
Ah.
Scary Terry better. He
Yeah,
seemed really
right?
cool.
That sounds interesting.
But it's not
I
called
can run
Terry
with
Hall.
that.
It's called Starry Hall.
Starry Hall.
Well, that's
Damn.
just silly.
Ooh. On a starry night.
It
Yes.
says the ghost. It says it's a ghost that is said to roam during the night. The ghost of Laurel Hall is said to have caused a resident assistant to jump to her death in 2011. In an unverified separate incident, the architect's daughter reportedly jumped off the tower hall and never left the building. The infamous Butler Hall seems to be the center of
Butler
paranormal
Hall.
activity, with objects shaking and seemingly thrown on their
They
own.
come up with these fucking names.
I don't know, talk to the fucking
I
administrators, man.
should.
Yeah.
I will send them an angry letter.
Scary
Yeah,
Stary.
send them an angry letter like after this.
Right?
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna do it right now.
And do it right now. You might fucking
I
do it
got-
right now.
let
We're
me-
live.
let me
We're
get my-
live, baby.
Let me get my 50% battery power right here. See what I can do with this. All right.
Damn, that's what you get for using an Android phone, bro.
Oh, bitch made comments. Low blow. Fuck Apple.
We support Apple.
No, we don't. Apple sucks.
Give some of the Apple money.
Come on, Tim Apple, give us some cash.
Steve Jobs, your ghost
Tim
out there.
Steve Jobs ghost.
The Apple building is haunted by
That's
Steve
right,
Jobs'
yeah.
ghost. That's funny, dude.
At least we're on top.
And we'll and we'll say the Apple building's haunted if we get some of that sweet money.
Yeah.
Nah, but
So apparently,
Sponsored.
in the top 50
free
schools
advertising.
around the world, according to this
Not free.
article,
Give us money.
there's only 2 Texas schools that are involved in that.
Wait,
So,
can we get the
well, like I said, around the world, the top 50 schools around the world, there's only
Uh-huh.
2 Texas schools
was,
in there. Mind you, there's a bunch of other schools that we're not going to mention because they have nothing to
was
do with our
Texas
area.
UT Browntown or whatever. One of
It
those?
was not.
Oh.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
You see,
campus.
you know what surprisingly is I thought Brownsville would have been involved in that because I mean, even when you go like to
because they need a lot to claim
when
their
it
fame
was
to
what
start
was it,
with.
Southmost
They-
College?
Yeah, well, the thing
they
is,
cling to anything they can.
I went to Brownsville for like a year, and when you're getting orientation and they give you a tour of the school,
There's
mention
the
that.
old-
all they
take
do
you
is
to the
fucking
old
mention
sheriff's,
ghosts.
yeah,
that whole fucking
yeah,
thing.
Yeah,
It's-
Ray, they're
it's
trying to
great
increase
shit.
numbers, bro.
Well, I mean,
the
it
place is
was
boring
the
as
most
fuck
haunted
otherwise.
school.
It was a fort. There was a morgue.
yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that went down there, man.
They had a sheriff's
order.
jail in there. Or not, I forget if it was a jail. I know they had the administration building in there. So,
Interesting.
and yeah, right by there was the damn.
There was a Calvary building,
the fort.
morgue,
the biggest fort in the nation, most well preserved fort in the nation.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into
Brownsville.
Texas. We'll get into Brownsville. Sorry, the Brownsville school in just a moment. But I would
Sounds
like to
like
go back
the,
to the Texas State University.
Sounds like that list is pretty racist, man. They don't want to come in South Texas.
No man, they don't want to come down here.
Bitches.
They might as well just consider that a school in Mexico.
Yeah.
Well, you know, a lot of people.
I
It's funny. A lot of
mean-
people consider fucking San Antonio to be South Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
it's like
do.
no, it goes a lot further down than
Yeah,
that.
you guys are fucking morons.
No,
But
no,
you know,
it
whatever.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? No,
Well,
no,
Not according to America.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
Just chop off the dick of Texas, man. You know, fucking,
They don't need
whatever.
that.
Yeah,
Smooth, baby, like a Ken doll. Nothing.
that's right.
Assholes.
Now, within the top 50, I'm sorry, the top 5, the
Take a
top
breath,
schools.
take
I'm
a
sorry, the
breath.
top schools in America that are haunted. Texas State University ranks number 5.
Where's that one again? Is that
We're number 5, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sorry,
that's in
excuse me.
Denmark.
Sorry, number 20.
That's not
I
Texas
apologize.
Tech.
I said the top
No,
500
Texas
schools in
State,
America.
San Marcos.
Okay.
Texas State University ranks number 20.
Texas is a big place. There's a whole lot of shit to keep track of.
There
so
is.
I just can't.
Yeah, but this is just in general in America,
I
so to speak.
Okay.
So it ranks
Yeah.
number 20 in the top schools haunted in America
Top
as number
20,
20.
Not just the schools, though, man. Apparently, there's a fraternity house too.
Right.
Wouldn't that be considered
Yeah,
part of the school though? I mean,
Well, it's actually not
Was it?
on the campus. It's near like some creek or something. But
Mhm.
it
Was
was.
unofficial frat house?
unofficial
Dude,
crack house.
He said frat
I
house.
said frat, but
Well,
I like
maybe
I like-
crack.
I like
It
when you
probably
said
was a crack house when it was abandoned.
I'm sure there was plenty of crack to be had.
Does
there.
a fraternity have to be on the frat house? Have to be on campus?
Well, technically, it's a part of the school though, isn't it? Like, if
Well,
even
okay.
if it is
No,
a
You're
frat
right.
house.
no, it doesn't have to be on
It
campus.
Depends on.
Well, wouldn't it be still associated with the school?
Well,
though?
yes, it would be
Yeah.
associated with the school, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not school
They take,
property.
they'll
Well, wouldn't it be considered school property though? Like,
No,
No,
the
it's
fraternity can own
It's
it.
not.
They
They
can-
just have
own
to
it
follow. They just have
independently.
a set of rules they have to run to.
you need to rewatch Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah,
That's what
Animal
I'm saying.
House, dude.
Yeah,
Animal
Animal
House
House. Is,
too.
yeah, but it was there was a house in San Marcos owned by the Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity. It was bought back in the '60s, and the story goes that there was a hazing gone wrong, and a couple of pledges died. So the rest of the pledges, they had them write down what happened in their pledge books, and they had them nail them to the wall of the fraternity. And a lot of people say you could go in there and see them. There's actually pictures. I have a link posted on the. I don't know if you're gonna.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna
Oh,
put
he
that.
will.
I put
Okay.
all that stuff on there.
There's a link to it, but you could, there's pictures of the books burned, nailed to the wall. The place no longer exists though. The fraternity house burned down. But that place was actually, I think it was a hospital at one time. So there's a lot of rumors about it being haunted and stuff like that. But
Awesome.
yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Right on.
Yeah, I don't know what's the. You said scary. What was the?
It was
What was
a-
the haunting? What was the
Scary
haunting of the actual?
Stary.
Yeah, scary. What was that? Sorry. What was the actual? What was the actual haunting of the school again, though?
It's just like people reporting like weird
Janitor
instances,
tripping,
noises,
rub his dumb neck.
things being like open and
Pushed around.
closed,
Yeah, I mean,
slammed and stuff like that.
The lights flicker.
For all I know, like it could be a janitor, like a rogue janitor.
The
just
toilet
like,
flushed
oh, sorry.
all by
A
itself.
rogue
I
custodian.
mean, that's the way a lot of these
rogue
things start, man. Yeah.
Fuck these.
I mean,
guys.
someone's studying late at night and like, what's that? And they're like, I hear like some like squeaky noise, and it's like a custodian like mopping and shit.
Yeah. It's a ghost broom.
Who knows? What could have been? Like,
Clean the windows and shit.
yeah, right.
What a pal.
That sounds like a squeegee.
The phantom.
Does it
squeege.
smell like Mr. Clean in
the
here?
phantom squeege. Now, this different article that I did find gives a little another brief description about Texas State University in San Marcos. It says ghost tours are offered to freshmen arriving at Texas
Wait,
State University.
one more time. Ghost. What?
Ghost tours.
Tours. Okay.
When I say tours,
it sounded like Hooters.
I think
Oh,
Like,
I think
shit.
you wanted to.
That was that.
I
think
wanted
that's
to
what you
hear
want.
that.
Attendance
I
That's
did
what you
want.
want.
Attendance would go
you're
100%.
You're right. I did want to hear that. I did.
Offer,
But it was
offer
just like-
every fucking
my ears.
freshman a ghost tour.
My ears perked up. Just
You know, it's
a
gonna be
little,
funny.
I won't
Like
lie.
after this episode
Ghost
airs,
tours. Huh?
like the students applying to fucking State
We need
Texas
to go
State
there.
University. Like,
I
goes-
know. Yeah, we need to investigate this shit. Right?
Yeah. For science.
go, do all
You know
have
the scene in
parapsychology?
Ghostbusters
Yeah.
with the
That really happened.
but the shit they use to detect the ghost. That would be my dick.
Never fails.
Well, if I may emphasize, ghost tours
Thank
are
you.
offered to freshmen arriving at Texas State University,
Your
presumably
enunciation is
to warn them about
impeccable.
what to potentially expect during their time at the school's spooky San Marcos campus. One tale centers around a formidable-looking old main, which was opened in 1903. Legend has it that a student plummeted from the Gothic building's third floor while renovation work was underway. And some people believe that her book-wielding ghost still roams the halls. She's a good ghost. She's still studying.
That's
She's
very
studying.
specific. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It goes.
It says
Book-wielding, eh?
attempting to figure out a route to class.
Okay.
As a
Another
ghost that
another
is still a good
Ghostbuster
student.
reference, the librarian. Like,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Still putting books away.
That's right.
Still doing their
Mhm.
job. She still wants to get to class on time. Meanwhile, something
Still trying to
more
come on to the
sinister.
professor.
So it says, meanwhile, something more sinister is said to have taken place at Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity house. Is that the one? Right?
Yes. That's
Okay.
Pi Kappa.
Okay, where during an initiation ceremony a number of years ago, a group of new members were purportedly killed. When investigators from ghost hunting group Weird USA paid the building a visit prior to it succumbing to a fire in 2007, they described observing the words, "Help me," and "I'm sorry," scratched into the kitchen worktops, not to mention vanishing bloody handprints on the walls.
Nice story.
So you did, yeah. You did. That was the one you were talking about.
Yeah, that's the Pi Kappa Alpha house, but it had a lot of history before it was bought as a fraternity. It was like back from the early 1920s.
So, could the bloody handprints suggest that there was some kind of butt stuff?
Yeah, maybe. Man.
What?
I mean, I don't know. Like, how is it they can have it? Like,
What the hell?
they went. Something went
hemorrhoids,
wrong.
man. You know,
Yeah,
it's like-
something went wrong. It's a fraternity that, like, you know, they're all about fucking like spanking and like.
So you're trying to tell me
Like
someone
picking
did
up a
butt...
cherry, but
someone did butt stuff.
Exterior butt, not interior butt. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe. I don't know.
Did they
Well,
draw blood
fucking
from
whipping it
inside
with
or
the cat o'
outer,
nine tails
inner
or
or
what?
outer
Exactly.
butt?
Yeah.
You know, it's always something with the butt.
What the fuck?
That's how them secret societies go,
I'd
man.
like that is just an audio clip
Yeah.
on the soundboard when we get one.
Butt stiff.
Wow.
It's
So-
always
we're
something
getting-
with the butt.
Wait.
We're
Did they
getting
bleed
political
out?
here, man.
Did
We're
they
getting
bleed out from the butt? That's
topical.
why they died.
Maybe.
The dangers of
The
hazing.
imagination, exactly.
Tonight on Mokuest News.
We have Roland wearing his goggles, fucking delivering that segment.
Some purported butt stuff going on.
Breaking news.
Exterior, interior, we don't know.
All
All
up
up to the
in.
bottom of it. No pun
All we know
intended.
is that it's scary.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, those are the schools that have been reported and ranked in these particular articles, but again, they did leave out Brownsville.
Did they?
You still talking
I
about
thought
butt shit?
that was no.
You know what I'm thinking,
past
man?
it.
They may not have enough
Jesus
time.
Christ, Ray, get your head out of the gutter.
If they decided to go down to South Texas, I don't think they'd have enough lists, man. Because you know,
there's
so much
shit everywhere.
Yeah, just every
I
fucking
mean,
school's
like,
haunted in the valley, man.
Yeah,
The
it's true.
fucking
Well,
canal-
I mean,
the canal across from my fucking street as a kid, like where I lived,
the canal's haunted.
was haunted. Yeah, some fucking
Why
chick
not?
got murdered there. Like,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say La Llorona goes like again.
oh,
She's
probably.
she's in all waterways, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Everywhere.
Please
It's
believe.
Yeah.
Trust.
Yeah, trust.
It's a,
Believe.
It's a Llorona. It's a
Believe
network.
that.
Yeah, man, there's all kinds of fucked up shit happening here. all
Yeah,
the
well,
time.
I mean, that's what we're here for. We're gonna get to all that, to all the waterways.
Power to truth.
We're not here for waterways, guys. We're here for schools.
That's another episode.
Right. there we go.
Haunted waterways.
Oh man.
Y'all hearing it first.
I'll just have some beer to just fix that problem.
Now, this other article,
those are my haunted
speaking
waterways.
of Brownsville, because I mean, at some point, someone has to mention it. Was written by UTRGV. So it was.
yeah.
It was actually
Of course it
written
is.
September 21st, 2019.
Wow.
You mean
Like,
Like it seems like today, like it was updated. Or something
Seems like they were.
Wait,
that
is today.
So that article you sent.
It says it's weird
thought
because it
that
says the
was-
newsroom, but the thing is on the bottom
Are you
here it
serious?
says
Today?
it says October 31st, 2018, so it was last year.
Oh,
Okay.
you may,
I was like, someone wrote it today.
Yeah. A little.
They knew we were recording
yeah,
today.
they fucking heard it.
Who's
Like, oh,
working
that's not-
today?
Yeah, exactly right.
Someone's putting in those late night hours.
I
to make sure.
gotta get busy.
Moku's gonna record tonight.
I gotta update this shit. They're gonna be really pissed if I don't do this.
Did all that research for those guys.
on top of their game. What?
The article is titled UTRGV Brownsville named one of the most haunted campuses in Texas. Surprisingly, not mentioned.
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Yet they did mention Texas State
If
University.
you've been
for
there,
some
they've
reason.
mentioned it. That's about it. Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, the place is old as fuck.
I don't know if you all like read that UTRGV article about Brownsville.
Yeah. I watched most of the dopey little video they had. They talk like maybe for about 30 seconds about the actual university, and then they would just start interviewing students. Oh yeah, so and so had a fucking like his own little.
Well, is this more when it was
experience.
Southmost College, or is this?
No, it was the UTRGV vid or whatever
Oh,
from
okay.
there. But so yeah, it was. When was it set?
And keep in mind,
Wasn't that long ago.
this is the same school that supposedly would have like bullets fly across the border, right, and hit it and shit. Is that
No,
true?
they did.
Yeah, right. That would happen, right?
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah,
I remember hearing about that.
it's fun. Everybody has a great time.
I'm just going to go real quick through this article regarding the Brownsville campus. They interviewed David Bowles, who did the ghost stories of the Rio Grande Valley.
It's a good book.
And
Got it right there.
it's this is the section of the article called The Human Experience. It says, Bowles believes that regardless if you're a believer or a skeptic, the ghost stories people tell should not be dismissed, as
Due
they
to their
are still
experience.
human experiences.
Right.
And this is a direct quote from him. It says, I don't believe there are stories that should be dismissed because, oh, ghosts aren't real, he said. There are stories that we should study and kind of relish because of what they say about the human condition
Right.
more than anything else.
Right.
But also because if they turn out to be true, that's pretty freaking cool, right?
Did you Did you say there that he himself mentioned that he was a skeptic?
No, I didn't. Before that, it does say that Dr. David Bowles, he's an
what
assistant
is he?
professor.
What is he a doctor of?
I'm not too sure.
Probably literature or something.
It says the UTRGV assistant
Communications.
professor in the Department of Literature and Cultural
Oh, okay.
Studies authored the book Ghosts of the Rio Grande Valley.
Right.
And it's considered the resident Kukui expert.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. He said he's heard plenty of ghost stories throughout his lifetime, including some stories from the UTRGV Edinburgh campus.
Fucking title.
Says this is what he says. I have heard people talk about ghosts, and there are some restrooms on campus, the Edinburgh campus, that if you go there at the wrong time,
You will smell
it's gonna
some
stink.
horrible shit.
It's gonna stink. Says you can encounter poltergeists and things like that. He said definitely some spooky stuff happens in this
Yeah.
area.
Taking ghost
Imagine
shit.
some.
Gnarly stank.
I mean, specifically after lunchtime, right?
Fucking, fish Fridays.
yeah.
Cafeteria.
Our
Breathe deep.
podcast contributor Bryan will give us more insight on the UTRGV campus in just a moment. A little bit of the history of the Brownsville school. It says Dr. Anthony Nope, Professor, was it Emeritus
Wait,
of History?
Emeritus.
What's that name
Emeritus?
again?
Emeritus.
Nope.
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 Yeah. KNOPP.
Oh,
Nope.
not as much fun.
Is it Nop or Nope?
It's nope.
Nope. Well, and how do you say that word, Roland? Professor Emeritus?
Emeritus,
Emeritus.
Yeah.
Of History
That
said
is to
Brownsville is
say-
one of the oldest areas in the Rio Grande Valley. The
He's,
UTRGV Brownsville campus is set near the historic Fort Brown,
Emeritus is
which includes an old hospital building and morgue that housed people plagued by the yellow fever virus. And this is from him. It says, Matamoros
yeah.
across the river from us
Everybody
in
got
Brownsville
fucked.
goes back to the time of the American Revolution.
right.
So there has been people and communities here for a very long time.
It's the American Revolution, the Mexican-American War, and even through the Civil War.
Right.
So there's
And beyond the Civil War.
There's a lot of shit. Yeah, actually, during World War One, they still used the place as a training facility. I think supply area. Surplus,
Regarding the wars and stuff and how many people are there, or even the buildings that have been there for a long time, it says when some of them go as far back as they do, this is the kind of thing that invites speculation about ghostly hauntings that might have occurred, especially here in the Fort Brown field where the hospital was and the morgue.
I.e., a lot of people died here.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so there's
Well,
obviously
they pretty
people
much
running
take
around.
dead people to the morgue. It's like where you take them.
You go to the
Yeah.
hospital, we'll
If
fix
they
you.
died, what do we do? I don't know. Take them to the morgue.
I mean,
Burn 'em and bury 'em.
again, like when I was saying, when I got orientation over there,
Over-
they pretty much take you to in Brownsville.
Really?
When I did, as they're taking everyone through the whole campus,
Oh,
they're
they
mentioning
gave you the tour.
they're not only mentioning like
yeah.
Maybe the ghost tour.
it's pretty much the ghost tour is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not even the fact that like, oh, this building is where you can do is the rec center, or this is this, and then they get to the old buildings, they're like, and this is where people say that they hear or see shit, and they're just like, well, fuck, man, I'm getting a free ghost
the
tour
rec
here.
center or the rec center?
You can
Just
play
fucking- they just-
pool
And they just-
and video games, and you can get Chick-fil-A.
fucking pull
Work
up
on
in a
those
hearse for your
gains.
fucking orientation and shit.
You can work out.
Yeah.
But those buildings that they
Always,
specifically
always.
say, I mean, I never went in any of those, but they look like they've.
It's a building. You know,
Well, it's a building, but they have it like
offices,
they have it almost like a museum
A
in some of
shitter.
those places.
Yeah.
So you can
Well,
just walk
even,
in there and see like some of the history
right. Yes.
of some of those buildings.
Yeah.
Well, even UTPA, well, it's UTRGV now, but UTPA, when I went to orientation, they would talk about Troxel Hall, which is the dormitory.
Right. The old dorms.
They said it was haunted too.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of universities have stories, man.
Right. Yeah.
I think
The older they are, the more likely they have
Yeah,
some weird shit
exactly.
to talk about.
it'd be funny if like every person who's doing the orientation like has that fucking. There was a lot of rape here. You're like, sir, that is not funny to mention.
It is when you say it like that.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
No, I didn't say rape. I said rape.
It was scary.
Yeah, I got you now.
It's fucking like high noon. He has a fucking
completely
flashlight
different.
to his fucking chin.
It's broad daylight.
It's broad daylight. He fucking brings out the
High noon,
Flashlight.
flashlight and a flask, man.
He turns it on and off. Whoa, I just changed the batteries. What's happening?
But yeah, so I mean, if anyone, I'm pretty sure anyone, if they happen to be listening and they do go to Brownsville, are pretty much aware
Or
of
the Edinburgh campus.
Well, the
We haven't
Edinburgh
even
campus,
gotten to
we haven't gone to.
Edinburgh
We haven't got to the Edinburgh
Excuse
campus
me.
yet.
Yeah, it's just
But anyone
when
who's
like when we were talking about Troxel Hall, that's in Edinburgh.
yeah, anyone who goes there now, I'm sure has heard or
Weird shit.
maybe has had their own
And
experience
if you have and
going.
you're listening, hey, share. Don't be stingy.
Yeah, for sure. Share your story if you can email us at mokuest@gmail.com if you have any sort of
That's what I'm
personal stories
saying,
to let us
man.
know.
We need to get like a fucking. I don't even know how you would work it out, man. We just gotta like a hotline for people to call with their ghost stories, man. Play that. That would be good.
Well, when we get to Art Bell status, coast to coast kind of shit, then they can call us, man.
You don't
Right.
need to
Man,
do that.
Daniel,
Just-
here's what you do.
You don't have to.
get a Google Voice number
See,
and have
there
them
you
just
go.
leave you a voicemail.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
have to
that's
actually answer the call. Just
Right? They're calling me at all hours of the night. Listen to my story.
we're not doing anything, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna do anything like,
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of that for sure, man. This is Mokuest Studios. Fuck you. You guys suck. Listened to like 3 episodes. I can't stand it. We.
You sound like assholes.
Yeah.
that'll probably
Thanks.
be about 90% of the
Yeah,
calls
90%.
for sure.
I mean,
If we were to do that.
please, sure.
And then the
I mean,
the other
you'll
10% will
get
be
on
like
the
the other
air.
10% will be like I try to get on coast to coast, but they wouldn't accept me, so I'm gonna go on.
I'm gonna go with you guys.
Your standards are really low.
Yeah.
Share my story. The lowest of the low.
Touched.
I was taking a PPA, and then a ghost touched my PP.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, that better be a girl ghost.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, puto, you're touching my verga.
oh man, I'm telling you, the Cholo ghost hunters. man.
Cholo ghost? No.
Work on it.
Homie
No,
ghost hunter.
Homie ghost hunters. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Ghost homies.
Ghost homies. There
Yeah.
you go.
Hey, just
And-
correcting
and-
you. That's your baby.
No,
boys.
you're right. Let's make it happen, man.
I mean, as far as I guess,
Like the little 25-cent things you would get in the eggs or whatever. Yeah, man.
as far as colleges are concerned, I mean, the next one that we have in the valley is the actual UT RGV campus,
over in Edinburgh.
in which Bryan, I think you have some stories regarding that. We don't have any articles necessarily. You know what? I'm surprised
It's all word of
because
mouth,
the
so.
person who wrote the article was from UTRGV, and it says I'm assuming they're from the Edinburgh campus, maybe.
They
But-
may or may not be.
They may or may
Which
not
one are
be.
you talking about? Which article?
The one I just referenced right now.
I thought that was Browntown.
Well, they were talking about the Brownsville School, but
mean, then,
nothing has
like,
been mentioned about
Where it came.
where if they are located
More than likely. It was
at
over there.
UTRGV, like it's the main campus, right?
No, there's no main campus.
Oh, it's just all
No,
over.
it's
the
all
Yeah.
just UTRGV.
Oh, I'm sorry,
It's
man.
all-
I mean,
It's all.
we went to school when it was Pan Am. Well,
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
When
I
it
know.
made sense.
It's no longer separate anymore.
yeah,
No,
so
it's all one big.
it's all
shit.
one big Rio Grande Valley.
But I always wonder
school.
how that works. Do they make people go like?
Yes.
Wow, they really
Yes,
will
they
travel
do.
to Brownsville for classes.
So
They have shuttles.
Yes, they will. And
Oh,
they-
really have
and
shuttles?
It's not just students.
all the way to Brownsville.
All the way to
It's
Brownsville.
not
and
just
back.
students. They-
faculty, staff.
Yes, sir.
No
Yeah.
shit.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Maybe I should hit you right.
We
to
know
go to
we know a
work.
few people that they've sent over to Browntown. It sucks for them. 'cause
I've
they're
never
not-
taken the shuttle. I just drive my own vehicle, and I don't even
And,
ask
and
for
I know we
money
knew
back
a few
unless I'm
uh,
hauling something for the university.
We had a few colleagues that had to bust their ass out to Brownsville from Edinburgh, and for some classes, it was just like fuck that. Good
I didn't know
luck,
that's
guys.
what they were doing now.
Yeah,
Well-
you get fucked. I mean, it's cool because you have access to those facilities necessarily, but you have to go out of your fucking way for that shit.
Well, I know UTRGV.
the buses have Wi-Fi.
Oh,
And
really?
they're free for students. They're free
Alright,
for
nice.
students.
Yeah.
So like, that's cool.
Well,
Right.
even when it was back with UTPA, they had
Hour drive.
they had the marine biology buildings out there on,
on
on
South
Port
Padre.
Isabel.
The
right?
Coastal Studies Lab is outside.
yeah.
That was another thing. You're right. That's actually before they were even all combined to that. You wanted to take any of those marine biology courses, your ass is out to South Padre. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
they're still there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're just they're more integrated now, but all the same, like absolutely.
And there's a Harlingen location.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I live near there and I don't fucking know any of these things.
There's
Well,
also
there's
another.
not a
There's
lot
another.
in
It's
Harlingen.
not.
There's another building off
Was it like a
281. What is
testing
that?
Oh,
The testing center. The
So what that
well,
is?
no, the Hager's the testing center. I think the one you might be talking about is one of those. It's like where you go to sign up to have like credits transferred.
Oh, really?
Those sorts of things. I know they have one out by. It might not. It's not 281. The one I'm thinking out is
Well,
out by
this-
STC. It's out in Pecan.
Oh, okay.
And
There's
it's like
something out there off the highway off 281. I don't know what it is.
That's the old Hager building.
Oh, is
Okay.
that one?
What is that?
That's the-
near 281 and Freddie, right?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
off the
yeah,
highway.
that's the old
fuck
Hager
me.
building. That's the
Yeah.
testing center
Yeah, yeah.
and
Oh, okay.
They've got a
central receiving.
They've got an art department out there for
No, I think
printing.
they-
It's for printing. It's for printing. It's
Ah,
just
the
for
print
printing.
shop.
The department you're referring to is out on Klausner. Yeah, the whole department, the whole shebang is out there. Yeah, that was the old Walmart.
I mean, you guys are giving me like detailed
And-
locations of these places. People are
and
going
then
to
next
start
to it was
hovering
the old
around these
McDonald's.
buildings.
It's also UTRGV
Right,
stuff.
right. Yeah.
You go, are you here for the ghost? No, I'm here to test.
Across the street from that shitty KFC.
I'm here to get some printing.
Well, your ass needs to go to the Hager Bridge.
So,
So the wrong place.
You guys have some stories regarding the actual campus.
I've
and,
got like an
Hager building?
ancillary story. Bryan can go ahead and lead with what
All right.
he's got for that.
I'm going to start off with my experiences. Now, I'm not going to say necessarily that it was a ghost,
Definitively.
Asterisk. It was good.
but
We're just trying to take some kind of objective view regarding what happened.
Meter.
Because I mean, nothing that we've even read
Give me
has
a break,
been
Ray.
like.
We're sensationalizing the shit out of this.
Exactly. Fuck
No.
you.
It was a ghost.
Fuck you, non-believers. You guys are pricks. This shit
no.
happened.
so I used to.
Nothing's been proven necessarily.
Feeling in
but
my
this
balls.
is just stories. So
I used to spend a lot of time in Physical Science West,
Deep in my scrote.
which that building has since been torn down. The building, what I'm talking about now, has been torn down, and it's mostly a green
Where's,
space except for a small corner. Well, what would have been a corner of the building is now overlapped with some new building.
Right.
Anyway, I was employed there in that building. My office
If I'm not
was
mistaken,
there.
that was one of the first buildings the campus had.
That
Yeah,
was one of the
was that
first
one?
buildings, and it was one of the oldest unrenovated buildings
Yeah.
on campus for a while.
Yep.
They had renovated the dorms. All these other buildings had seen renovations, and they hadn't really touched this building. So this is going back to like 2005 through 2008-ish. I was
That
spending
was
a lot
right
of
out
time.
of high school, man.
Yeah, I was. Well, 2005 is when I started working there.
Oh, okay.
Fuck. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Taught my first lab in that building. Anyway, you ended up staying in the building. Just the custodians would leave. They'd lock the doors. There was no way into that building from the outside. The sliding door was locked and off. The other door you could get out had a crash bar. It was an exit only. If you opened the door, went outside, and it closed, you were locked out. No one had keys. PD would come through occasionally, but you could hear them unlocking the door. Well, they would lock up about 10 o'clock, 10:30, somewhere in there, and I'd be working on whatever, and you would smell like a cigarette inside the building, like someone smoking a cigarette. It's like,
That wasn't me.
yeah, it wasn't back then. And you could really smell it. So I'd go and it's like, what the hell? Is something burning? What's going on? Other times I was there, this would actually happen frequently. You would hear doors slam because they had really stiff auto-closing mechanisms. They would slam.
Yeah, that place was quiet as the grave all the time.
Right. It was quiet, but you would hear just a door close. It's like,
hear a flea fart. Yeah.
who's here? And so you'd get out and you'd walk down. It was a single hallway with classrooms and a couple of offices on either side. Mm-hmm. There was only like 2 faculty offices, and the rest of it was just classrooms, storerooms, lab rooms.
Right.
And there were no faculty there.
No, they're smart. They get the fuck out of there.
There were only the TAs who were all in one room. Mm-hmm. So we'd hear this. We go check it out, man. Nothing. All the classroom doors were locked. Everything was buttoned down. I even had, when I had keys, I'd look inside the room. It's like, no one's here. And then you hear it again. And it wasn't the air handlers. It wasn't stuff you would hear during the day. No. Now, another interesting thing that's happened is Physical Science East and Physical Science West had sliding doors. Mm-hmm. And there was a covered walkway between them. Now, every so often, one door would open and close by itself on either side.
Sure.
No one's going by. It would just do it. On a couple of occasions, maybe more than a couple, one door would open, and then just about the amount of time it would take for someone walking briskly between the 2 buildings, the other sliding door would open. And I spent so much time going between those buildings, I knew, it takes about this long, if you're going.
Right. Yeah, you could count it
between
out.
the
And also,
buildings.
we've all had experiences going into those buildings numerous times. And like where you'd have to walk to it took a certain time walking from one end to the other of the buildings because the library was just right there too.
Yeah. But, I'd be in the hallway waiting for students to show up or whatever, and it would just open. Okay. And then the other one would open. It's like, huh, that's weird. Mm-hmm. And the cigarette smoke, that would happen frequently. And it was always at night. It wasn't like during the day. Mm. All this stuff was an at-night phenomena. You wouldn't hear the doors doing that weird slamming business during the day, except when classes were letting out and the students were all leaving.
Noisy. Right.
So it was, that building had some interesting stuff going on. Now, I will talk about a couple of other things. I won't use this faculty member's name.
Okay.
But this person is a tenured professor with a degree in a science field, a PhD in a science. And I don't mean a social science.
I'm not gonna say
specify that. No, I'm just saying if you know who this person is, like, don't say anything.
I don't think you do.
I probably don't, but I have a guess. A few guesses. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Go right ahead.
Who do you think?
Well, so the one off the top of my head that I was thinking about was
that's later.
Mazariegos, because he had some weird stuff to say at one point or another.
He's not usually on campus very frequently.
Exactly. It's very
it wasn't
seldom.
him.
Okay.
It's not even anyone from my department.
Okay.
Anyway, this faculty member had a research
idiot. Go ahead.
Had a research laboratory he was sharing with another faculty member, and the other faculty member passed away, I believe due to a motor vehicle accident.
You remember Major Payne, right?
And after that, the other faculty member's research equipment kind of stayed there. I think they eventually moved it. But they would find stuff. He had his research students, and they would come in to take care of things that needed to be done at specific times. And they would find things moved. Well, the only people that were in there were the professor and his students, and they'd call him up, "Did you do this?" And he'd say, "No." "Why?" "Well, this has been moved from here to over here." "What do you mean?" Or, "Someone already took care of this task." Now, the faculty member only had
My thesis is done.
a couple of students to work in his lab,
I fucking wish.
and none of them had done this stuff. So stuff was getting done in his lab the way it needed to be done, but no one did it.
Man, those ghosts.
Okay, I was gonna say, like,
Did you write this paper?
They do your homework
What
for
did
you?
he? What was his response to that
Fuck.
though? Like, did he just accept the fact that it happened, or like
Did
was
you-
he?
did you
He's
defend his
very
thesis?
open-minded regarding, at least the
Phenomenon.
ghosts,
the possibility?
the possibility. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, when you have stuff happening in your lab and there's only like 3 people that have access, and
Right.
none of them have done it, and it's been done correctly, what do you do? Like, "Oh, someone broke in and helped me with my research."
Right.
Right?
Hey, man.
Someone with a degree in my specific field
Just gonna take
Maybe it
credit.
was a
just kind of came and helped out to not be published. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
maybe it was a janitor. Or,
Yeah.
it's a hobby on his spare time.
It's the Matt Damon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
man.
but usually,
The
you know,
beautiful,
this isn't that
Goodwill Hunting style.
It's not kind of board stuff. It's actually doing stuff.
No,
real
yeah.
things.
Is there
Now-
any history to that area, that
Hollywood.
building? Or?
Well, this is in the science building, but this lab was shared with this faculty member and another faculty member who passed away
Mhm.
tragically. And
So you
I
think that
see.
maybe
that's
Could've been like,
the hypothesis put forth by the professor.
so you
Who
think
told
that
me
maybe the professor that passed away went and
And is haunting that lab.
but not
Writing people's
haunting
papers for them.
but completing like work and stuff.
Yeah,
like
like being a researcher.
Ghost Dad style.
that. Like they
Fuck.
did when they were alive.
Right.
Fuck that
Right.
movie.
Now, the last part. There is a little bit of
sucks.
history to this.
It's good though. Good reference.
The university really doesn't like to talk about this, but there is the Brenda Dominguez case going back to 2012. Now, where that happened, they have since torn down the staircase. And if you want to look it up, it's in the Monitor.
What building is this?
Science building.
Wow,
Anyway.
they really close. They tore down a staircase and all that.
They tore down the staircase.
You know what side of
that
the building that
happened.
was on, dude?
He
Yeah,
just
I know
said-
exactly where. I'm explaining this. It was
Sorry.
next to the research
Excuse me.
wing.
Go right ahead.
But when they built the new wing, they had to tear down the staircase
Yeah.
to enclose that whole section. Now, it's a
Damn.
beautiful new building, but there's an elevator in the research wing, in the new part of the research wing, that ever since we've been in the building, every so often you'll get in, you'll press a button, the doors will close and reopen. And then close again, and then it'll go. And it does not happen regularly. Like, it's not, every 5th time. It's not, it's only on the 2nd floor. It will happen randomly on whatever floor you're on. Sometimes it won't happen for a week. Sometimes it'll happen like 3 times in a row. It'll stop here, open, you get in, push a button, the door closes, it opens, it goes down, someone gets off the elevator, the door closes, it opens, and it gets to the 1st floor and behaves normally. That particular elevator that exhibits this behavior, the guys from the construction company tried to figure it out, ran all these tests trying to get it to not do that. But that elevator exists where the staircase
used to be.
where the person committed suicide. Well, there you go. That's what happened there.
Spoilers.
When was this?
2012. That's
2012.
that's when the suicide happened.
Okay.
And
Have
that
you had any experiences
is that,
yourself?
that's actually
I've ridden this. I ride this elevator like every day.
Yeah.
and the suicide it was reported and all
Yeah,
that
it was in the news.
Okay.
It's like you say. You can look up the case of Brenda Dominguez.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is that when someone jumped off the top of the stairs or something like that.
Yes, that's when Brenda Dominguez
Yeah, there we go.
jumped off the top of the
Alright.
stairs.
Yeah.
Wow.
At least according to law enforcement.
Snapped her neck or some sort of thing.
Well, I mean, we don't have the medical report.
I'm trying to
but do
remember.
we?
Excuse me.
Well, we could probably access
I'm
that.
not-
I mean, I don't know if it's necessary
I would say
for the
Nah.
story. Though.
It's
I
not
would
really
say-
germane to the situation.
No.
I mean, honestly.
No.
The poor girl passed away, like, right
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hence
All
tragedy. I would say. I'm
Now, you
about
can't get to that elevator without having...
your fob.
No, it's not fobs. You have to have swipe card access to that section because it's in the research
I
wing.
see.
So it's only like specific people, like maybe people with access that can
Staff,
go through there.
faculty.
Right. You know, you can't just, let's take the haunted tour of TRGV and go see the elevator. No, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
You have to be in a science field and doing research with someone.
Gotcha. Well, if anyone who's listening and is attending UTRGV
And doing research
and doing research
in the science building.
in a science building,
Have fun.
be aware.
The haunted elevator.
Be aware, beware.
Clench
Right.
those cheeks for safety.
Well, I don't know if anyone's getting...
No, I mean, there's nothing like...
It's not. Why did
The elevator hasn't like done anything. It's more like someone's getting on the elevator
Yeah,
and getting off
yeah.
the
It's
What
elevator.
you do? You protect yourself. You're like flex the cheeks.
Why is it always butt stuff with him?
It
I don't
isn't.
know, it's 'cause he's
Ray,
drinking, that's
Ray's
why.
giving that weird.
He's drinking, that's
He's
why.
giving that
Well,
weird
it could be
look.
that's dropping real fast. You know, you're gonna clench up.
The cheeks.
Roland, I think
Yeah.
you have a story regarding
It was
not necessarily the UTRGV campus, but
So yeah, like I mentioned before, when I worked at the Hager plant when they first started using it as surplus. Not first, but before they renovated it and turned it into the testing center. It was just one big, basically open area where they just kept a lot of just furniture and just computers, just extra shit that the university was like, look, this is junk, but we don't want to get rid of it. We're going to keep this in case we maybe need it for something, or we can auction it off. That kind of thing. They had a lot of auctions there too. Sell vehicles, just furniture, random crap, or they would sell things back to the government for refurbishment, that sort of thing. And my coworkers at the time would always tell me like, "Oh yeah, this place is haunted." You know, we have people that would have been here, and they like at night, you know, they'd hear somebody like, you know, voices or just noises of like footsteps walking around, that sort of thing. And I worked there for I think it was about a year or so. And so they would always try to fuck with people that would have to like work at night. Like they would like, all right, look, so when we close for the night, it's not like they would just flip a switch. They go to the breaker and just cut everything off from there. And of course, the breaker is like way the hell across the warehouse. And so the second you shut that shit off and everything's dark, you have to walk all the way across the building, you know, navigating all these, you know, pallets of shit, furniture, just crap everywhere to get to the exit, to get to the entrance. And they would always fuck with someone. They'd be like, all right, look, go over there. We'll wait for you here on this side. And we'll just be like, hey, come this way. Or whatever.
so people were aware, or not necessarily aware, but they knew that it was going to be like a bitch to kind of get through.
They do, and it really was, but it was fun to me. I was pretty comfortable, but I could always feel like that you know, that fucking claustrophobic feeling / like, is somebody watching me? Or like, oh, I hear noises, oh, whatever. And I didn't mind at all. Like, they would send me over there, and they would just be like, watch out. And it's like...
Using that voice
yeah,
again.
okay, assholes. Like,
You have to.
Watch out.
like, you're sober, right? Like, you're saying this.
stuff.
Yeah, thank you. Right. Like, guard your cheeks.
Cork your asshole.
There we go. And I was pretty comfortable in it. I mean, it sucked to occasionally walk into like a dresser or like a cabinet or something. Just boom, like, oh fuck. Okay. Kind of you'd walk around that because supposedly a lot of the activity came from accidents that had happened in the place before it was used as warehouse as storage. It was a manufacturing plant. It's just like about like dozens of bathrooms. You know, like if you'd seen any of these at the time, it was smaller than a closet. It was like a cubby hole where you would have to sit in there and take a dump, and like, you know, a few inches away there's another one and another one and another one. And it was just like, why the fuck would you guys do this? You know, like, because apparently the place held like hundreds of workers, and they just had you know, an assembly line for everything.
Are you telling me at this point you're like just questioning the architecture of this particular building?
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, you might say like the architecture was very questionable when they banged this thing out, and again, it was all for efficiency's sake, you know, just like, here are the shitters, you are like, all right, like we've got like 400 people working here, you know, like at any given time there's like 30 people that need to take a mad piss or a massive shit, and like here's your your designated areas, you're gonna go here, here, and here, and so. It's not meant for comfort. It's just meant for efficiency. Like, the walls are very thin. You could probably talk to the next guy over and that kind of thing. Like, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's up, Dave? Like, oh, I'm doing great. You know, flush. Well, break's over. Got to go back. You know, like, it's the dumbest shit ever. Like, if you'd seen this, it's what the fuck were you guys thinking?
You ever get complimented by?
Like, you're basically taking a shit standing up. Like, that's how small these fucking rooms were.
Like, damn, man,
and,
that's some good shit you got there.
Right. Yeah. What'd you eat? Same thing I did. Wow. Tamales?
Fucking scene. What's that? Oh my god. What's that? We were like, you wanna play taco shits or battle shits?
Battle shits.
Battle
That was
shits.
Fuck. Was that?
I don't know the teen movie. No, it's not that one. Is it?
You sunk my battle shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. What was it?
You never
That
saw
was Detroit Rock City.
No, it was not Detroit Rock City.
Yeah, dude, they did
No,
that. They
it
did
wasn't.
that. You sung my battle shit, like, cause remember, like,
that
dudes
was
were
not Detroit
not
Rock
Detroit.
They
City.
did something where like they were standing
Is that like
there.
Mean Girls?
They were in
No, that
the
wasn't Mean
event.
Girls, no.
And I remember it was like,
Fuck.
girls go pee-pee. Is that something I went to CC or whatever?
No, you're right. Like, I'm sorry. Like that. Like,
Do you remember
in
that?
that one? That
I think it was another teen movie.
I think
Or
you're right.
maybe not.
I
I
think
don't.
you're right.
Fuck, I can't remember that movie.
No, yeah.
You know, I don't remember the title of that movie, but I
And
remember
it's the two girls
everything.
down there, and they're like,
Fucking
oh,
what's his face? Jason Long or Lee or whatever. Wasn't he like trying to sell pot or whatever the fuck in that movie too?
don't
Like
know,
he selling like bags of it. Hey
Was it-
guys, this is where you get the. I think it was.
It was these two girls. They're two British
no,
girls,
yeah,
and they're
yeah,
like,
no.
they're like, they're like in the stools. They're in the fucking stalls together.
Yeah,
And one's like farting, and she's like, "Oh, do you want to play
there's
bottle shit?"
There's the fucking European chicks or
Yeah.
whatever.
You
like,
sunk
the
my
transfer.
bottle shit.
Yeah. Fuck.
was it? It wasn't.
No, it wasn't Mean Girls. It wasn't.
No, it was not. It was like
It
a
was-
fucking National Lampoon style shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what was the? Fuck! It was Van Wilder.
I was thinking it might have been Van Wilder, but I don't.
I think so, dude. Because it was one of the last ones.
Oh, it was Harold.
Harold and
Harold and
Harold and
Kumar.
Kumar.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
shit. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Fuck yeah.
Detroit Rock City.
So like
Mean Girls.
they did that
Detroit
one.
Rock
Hey, we
City.
jumped around, all right.
Yeah,
Like,
we jumped
they
around
had
quite a
that
bit,
one
yeah.
where like I love Detroit Rock City. All right, excuse
Apparently
me for
not enough.
Hey, to remember,
And
yeah,
I'm
to
sorry.
remember the shit scenes. You know, I'm excuse me, my memory's not
You're
that
just
strong.
adding in scenes from other movies. Are you sure you've
You know
even
what?
seen Detroit Rock City anymore?
I actually think we mixed up a
Best.
lot of shit because the thing I was talking about, the girl go pee pee is not something we want to see. That was another fucking movie. I can't remember. That was the one they're walking around the ducks.
Mighty Ducks.
No, and the air conditioning ducts, and they're
Oh,
like there,
no.
and they're
Not
watching the
even
chicks go to the
trying.
bathroom, and he's like, "Oh, I found a buffalo nickel." He's all excited. I don't know. Anyways,
Like pork.
fucking back to
no, it was
back
screwballs.
No, back to fucking.
Back to the story. This
Yeah,
isn't
there you
Cinequest.
No, yeah. So that was pretty much it. Like they would tell me they would hear voices and stuff, and I'd be there, pitch dark kind of stuff, and like.
Did you hear? You heard things or faint
I
things? But I
tried,
mean, it
like,
could have been
I
like
really
them fucking
tried
with you
to.
too, right?
So they would also say things where like they would be like, "Look, we have the radio set up." You know, like they'd have a radio in the warehouse, and it would be off, and it would just randomly turn on. Like someone would just be like flick, and phew, you know, like 94.5 or whatever the fuck,
94.5.
E101, kinds of things. And I was always just fucking jazzed to be there. I was like, fuck, this is a cool place. It's old as fuck. Like, let's, whatever. I don't think I ever heard anything, but I walked around that place a fuck ton, like in the middle of the dark kind of thing. It was like,
But you're going on the fact that primarily it was the people who worked there. That
right,
would tell you
yeah.
a bunch
So
of
they had a
stories.
lot of accidents, supposedly.
People crushed by jeans.
Right, yeah. Tragic. And
Khakis. You know what? I feel bad though, 'cause I actually own
choking.
Well, I actually own a pair of Hagar slacks, so.
You bitch.
I do. I'm sorry.
you
Now I'm
contributed to
gonna
this?
fucking burn them, man.
No, I never heard anything in there. Like, I mean, it felt weird walking through the place because it was, dead as the grave or whatever. So silent.
Dead as the grave.
Dead as the grave.
Dead as the grave.
There you
Dead is the grave.
Dead as the grave. All right. Okay.
There were a few places on campus that were like that as well.
But did you experience?
I
them,
mean,
or
no.
you just-
Like I
you've heard-
visited some of those like where the maintenance guys would go to hang out in like surplus or warehouse areas that no one was at. They're like, oh yeah, nobody ever comes here. We could just chill here for like an hour or whatever.
You mean take
like,
mescaline?
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say meth.
Oh.
No, mescaline. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you know what? That might not be right, but anyway.
I mean, I attended UT RGV / Pan Am. I never experienced anything there, and I would be there late at night at the school.
I was
What were they
in
before Broncos?
Broncos.
They were
so I was in
No,
physics and
Rocketos.
geology a lot late as fuck at night. And,
Well, the thing is, I mean, I
would hear this like a lot of the same things that Bryan
I
described.
would
and I just like
be there late
I
at
don't have
night
time
too.
for that shit. I'm busy. Like
hanging out with you guys. If you guys were there
like
late,
1 in
I'd
the
be-
Did you never
morning,
experience anything,
midnight.
Ray?
Huh? No, I never.
No,
No, not at that school.
I mean,
When
like
you were
I would always
high
hear
off
the
your
doors
ass?
clicking. Or
Actually, I was
whatever.
like,
and I did remember
chill with
smelling
the-
the
you were chill with the
cigars,
ghosts?
cigars
Right.
and cigarettes
You'd smell
very
the
often, and I was just like, why does that? Because like at the time we were the only people that smoked around there. I was like, I haven't had a cigarette in hours. Brian's at home. Like, who the fuck? Like, where does this?
And none of us smoked in the building.
No, absolutely
And
not.
you would smell it in the building.
Absolutely. And it was just like, hey, all right. I mean, I like the smell. Like, whatever. I don't have time
You're
for
like,
this shit. Like, I
I gotta look for this person so I can bum a cigarette off.
Like,
Building's locked. No one's inside.
Right, that's
Smells
what-
like
that's all
cigarette smoke.
matters, man.
What the hell?
yeah, like I'd leave and I'd have to call the cops. Hey, look, dude, I'm taking off. Like, lock up.
Hey,
Like,
you got a
Right.
cigarette?
got them cohibas.
Oh,
He's like, sure, I got some Salem's.
Nah, like, got any Benson Hedges?
Lucky Strikes?
You prissy bitch.
Blacks.
Parliament.
Oh, man. See, that's what I
Some
had back
shields.
in the day.
Parliament.
You know when
I'm sorry, go ahead.
when I was it's something completely different, but like one time I did like some fucking
Lewds.
no when I was working at Livestock Show I had to do some driving for like bands, and I think it was some country guy, I don't even know his fucking name, but like one of the roadies I would go, like I was like the driver, and I would go like pick stuff up from him and shit. One guy asked me for Parliaments. I was like, I don't think they fucking sell those here, dude. I had to go around like all Mercedes, like, y'all sell Parliaments? Like, I don't even think those exist anymore, man. I'm like,
No Parliaments. Who smokes that?
yeah. He was a
Gotta
British.
go to McAllen to get those.
Yeah, he was a British guy, but it was funny. He's like, yeah, I need some Parliaments. Parliaments? Like, what the fuck? I've never heard of those.
Bryce,
Just being an asshole.
did you have any
Yeah.
experiences while you were going to school over there?
No,
No?
I never
Yeah,
did,
me
man.
neither, man.
I never did. I wish I did. I really wish I did. But I said they told us about Troxel Hall. It was haunted. I never. I mean, I didn't stay on campus, so I never. I wasn't in the dormitories. But yeah, I wish I experienced some
I
stuff.
was in the dorms. I briefly saw an RA, but
Oh, you were an RA?
no.
Oh.
I saw an RA.
Oh, okay.
Well, I lived at the apartments near campus, and there was a lot of shit
now
that happened there. That's a different story
That's
altogether.
totally
That's a different
that could
story
be its own episode.
Yeah, that's a different story altogether.
Chestnut.
Really?
The
Did you experience anything in those dormitories? I mean, those
the
apartments?
Palms, the El Bosque, like all that kind of shit. Like that was right across from the rec center, and I mean, there's a lot of
I
stuff
had
that
an
happened there.
ex-girlfriend that lived at the one. It's the gated one.
No, I
Oh,
didn't live
that's
at that one.
No, that's
No,
too nice.
that's-
No, they're actually not.
They were no. Well,
Ray couldn't afford a gate.
I couldn't afford a gate. I just afford
Westbrook or
Well, here's the thing.
an air conditioner that leak into the carpet.
But let me ask you: did you rent the whole apartment?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
No, I know
they were nice,
I
but
know.
you rented the room. You
Right,
didn't rent the
that
apartment.
was
the fuck is
That was one of the sacrifices I had to make.
That was weird, man. I dated this girl for a while, and she lived there.
Yeah.
And she basically rents a room.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know.
They had the communal area.
Because like
Weird.
one of her roommates is her ex-boyfriend.
It's weird.
Although she did have a guy that lived there. He was a Filipino guy. He would make food. He was awesome though, because he'd be like, yeah, you can help yourself to it. He'd make like extra. I was like, fuck yeah, bro. I was like, all right. Don't expect me to pay for this, but thanks, man. No, but yeah, it was just like she rented a room, so I don't know what the name of those were, but anyway.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They were too new to be haunted. I would think.
It's not Red Rock. It's the.
It's on Chapin.
Yeah. It's
I'm sorry.
Right there in the
No, I know
remember.
what you're talking about.
It's just around the core. It's the ones behind.
Yeah.
where you
stayed there at one point.
And I knew a girl there too. The one I'm thinking,
She
the one you
stayed
stayed
there?
at.
Yeah, she had a room there.
I think the one you stayed at. I knew her. I knew a girl there too. She needed notes for class, and I went and it's funny. She had a folding table and just a bunch of weed like on it. And I was like, oh,
that was like probably like every apartment in that.
well,
area,
yeah,
dude.
probably.
Man, there
Is
were
that all
so
Bosque?
many
I mean-
busts at the.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Wait, did we? Was that y'all? We went to a party in that complex.
We did.
And as soon as we were getting there, the cops were showing
busted,
up, and we just kept going.
Yeah,
like,
we just kept on walking.
fine.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's so funny to think that like you guys were probably there at the same time. I was going
We
to
probably
school.
were, yeah.
'Cause I went to school with Daniel in high
2009,
school.
2010,
It's
you
crazy.
know? So, somewhere on there.
Well, I mean, I've been at UT Edinburgh, whatever name you want to give it, since 2003. So if you were there after 03, I was there.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about high schools. And one of the high schools that, for some reason, they're going with the different regions of Texas, and the south portion of this article is talking about El Paso High School, the south.
Yeah, again, that's what I'm telling
Again,
you.
they don't
People
think
think
they
that
don't go any
like,
further than that,
San
you know?
Antonio
West
is
AF,
they're
Texas,
fucking
right there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I consider that. Okay, just a brief article or little excerpt from this. It says the school has a reputation for all kinds of paranormal activity. Sometimes people find hallways filled with mist, unexplainable goo drips from the ceilings, and there was even the discovery of hidden classrooms beneath the building. Maybe one of those classrooms is where one of the unidentified girls studied, because she wasn't seen until she showed up in the graduating class of 1985's yearbook photo.
1985.
So she was underneath the classroom, studying
1985.
apparently in 1985.
So
Wait.
some dank weed and some pre-com.
Hold the phone. So the girl like just showed up in the yearbook?
Apparently in 1985 graduating class. And she wasn't apparently she wasn't in any of the classes.
Bro, that's
Oh,
just,
well,
that's just illegal.
Let me
bro.
continue this though.
No, I'm sorry.
Because it refers to that. It says
Okay.
everyone in the photo claims that the girl in white, because as we all know, that's just what ghosts wear, was not actually present when the picture was shot.
Style.
Some even said that they had sweaty palms during the photo shoot. Big fucking deal. They were nervous, whatever.
It's
Welcome
hot
to
as-
high
it's
school,
hot as
man.
shit. Hot as shit in El Paso.
Right, yeah.
To this day,
That's
no
why
one
Palms
can
ghosts.
identify her. The ghost does not appear in the photo negative either, and the picture was taken a couple of years before Photoshop was even developed.
Yeah.
It says the class photo resides in a
shit.
trophy cases at the school. In the meantime, there are many more unknown entities who are big fans of El Paso High. Some alumni and faculty say they've seen hundreds of ghosts hold pep rallies in the middle of the night there.
Pepper rallies.
Pep rallies.
Ooh.
And they say they've also heard basketball games
Give
in
me
the
an
auditorium.
S. Give me an A.
Well, I mean,
Give me a T.
if you're gonna have a basketball game, you gotta have a pep rally. You don't want to lose to those other spirits.
That's right.
And when they open the door, no one's there.
Oh,
No one's there.
no one's there but a faint trace of pom poms and
Sweaty palms, hairy palms,
Yeah, I saw
gooey
that.
ceiling.
Sounds like typical high school, man.
You go, isn't that just a normal day?
Yeah, that sounds like I saw that article, and they're actually posting that photo online now, asking people if they know this person to come forward.
Really? Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Unsolved Mysteries theme.
Yeah. Boom boom.
My name is Robert Stack.
Yeah, right. A girl in a picture.
Gooey ceilings.
Yeah.
You be the judge.
1985.
Want jerking off or something more?
We think
She go, is it jizz or ectoplasm? You be the judge.
Ectoplasm or ecto-orgasm?
Whoa.
Now, that is what they consider the South as one of the haunted schools, the high schools in the area. But realistically, there are a bunch of high schools in the Rio Grande Valley. I don't know why they don't come this far.
Because we don't count.
Because we don't count apparently, right?
Because this is Mexico, son.
No, we're not Mexico. We're not the U.S., man. This is the DMZ.
Dead man's land.
Demilitarized zone. Yeah, I guess, right? Between the...
Yep.
Now,
Past the Alamo, didn't they, they didn't really care about... They weren't defending this area. They were like,
okay, now we're going to be talking about local high school stories. And mine, personally, is a school named Berta Cabasa, which used to be a high school and turned into a middle school. And now currently is an abandoned building. But the actual Berta Cabasa school has been moved to a different location. And I'm going to read a little history from the book Ghosts of the Rio Grande Valley. Written by David Bowles, who we had mentioned earlier in...
Something you're talking about, like a biblical...
Oh, that.
Biblical passage. Are we from the book of Bowles? Chapter 14, verse 4.
Paragraph 7.
From the book of Bowles. This is actually from the... This is an excerpt from the chapter called The Wailing Woman of San Benito. And again, this is the school that is in San Benito, the town I grew up in and currently live in, which is regretful.
Yeah.
I don't like living there.
You don't?
I do not. It's terrible.
I'm going to cut that out.
No, I'm going to leave that
flaming
in.
torches at your house. Everyone dressed in Freddy Fender wigs and shit.
Everyone's in my house.
Texas tornadoes.
Wasted
Texas tornadoes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Several places in San Benito are purportedly haunted, obviously. One of the most popular is the old abandoned San Benito High School, built in 1930. The school served briefly as a hospital during World War II, and locals swear that late at night, the screams of the wounded and dying can be heard echoing down those empty halls. The campus was later renamed Berta Cabasa Middle School, before finally closing in 1998. The neighbors claim that lights flick on and off as uniformed old ghost patrols the rotting structure. He says rotting structure, and I mean it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
No,
I don't think so. But I'm
I'm
assuming that's more for
a rave.
That's a good story.
Effect. That's for effect. Yeah. Okay. At times, the gym is suddenly filled with the sounds of students playing basketball and laughing. Some have witnessed a phantom of a little girl who died on the grounds, wandering beneath the full moon, crying softly.
That's the girl that got crushed
by the flagpole.
Yeah,
that is correct.
Oh, that's where that happened.
Now, when I was in middle school, and I actually went, there were two middle schools in San Benito. One was Miller Jordan Middle School. One was Berta Cabasa. Mine was Miller Jordan, and which was just down the road from Berta Cabasa. And the school, Berta Cabasa, is right across the street from my aunt's house, whose house I would walk to after school when I would wait for my mother to pick me up. Mind you, San Benito's not a big town, so I could have literally walked home.
Really quick, though. How did you describe that day? Because you did mention that earlier.
Well, what happened was that, I mean, I was walking home. Well, I was walking home from school down the road. It's a straight line. It's like an L shape. So you walk straight, turn left. And there were a bunch of police and ambulance there. And, of course, you're trying to wonder what the fuck happened.
What was the weather like? Was it sunny? Was it hot?
It
Cold?
was a sunny day.
Gotta love that cheese, man.
I don't remember the exact month, but I'm pretty sure it is in this article that we'll read in just a second here.
Well, I mean, I just want your remembrance of the day.
It was a nice sunny day. The wind was softly blowing.
Give us the Stephen King version.
The wind had a menacing coolness to it.
The hot wind was blowing up my shorts, heating my balls.
I did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
They go, as a young teenage
feeling hot wind on my balls. Like
as the wind moved past my pants, I felt a motion.
Yeah. A stiffening, if you will.
But in all seriousness, let me read this article here. This was January 17th, 1995. This was when the article was written. It says a 12-year-old girl died Monday about 2 hours after a 37-foot flagpole crashed down on her head outside the middle school. Her name was Yvette Salinas, a 7th grader at Betecavasa Middle School, was pronounced dead at Valley Baptist Medical Center at 2:07 p.m. of very severe head injuries. The hospital spokesman Mike Schwartz said. A 13-year-old classmate identified as Ramon Resendez was taken to the hospital's emergency room after shrapnel, rust, and paint hit his eye, the district officials said.
Poor baby.
It was the district... Jesus, man.
He survived.
Jesus Christ.
He survived. All right.
It says... let me see here.
Were you there that day? What happened?
No, I didn't go to the school. I walked past as like...
The flagpole school?
Yeah. Were you there? You weren't there with me. I passed by. Jamie dropped me off at my aunt's house. My uncle's fixing my car, and the flagpole is the half part.
Is where you're going to high school?
No.
Oh, man. You knew Jamie in high school?
No. This was recent.
No,
this was recent.
Jamie picking you up.
No,
yeah.
This was recent.
Girl.
Jesus Christ. This was recent.
Why'd you get my car?
The flagpole is still there. Like
okay.
the half part of the flagpole is still there.
Oh, wow.
We went to that asshole with
it said high winds broke the flagpole just after noon as students recessed for lunch. And of course, that's pretty much what happened. The winds pretty much knocked the flagpole down, hit the girl right on the head, and she ended up dying. And that's the little girl that they're mentioning in the article here. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I never knew her. I know people that I went to high school with knew her, and I mean, like I said, the flagpole is actually still there, like the half part that's stood standing.
We'll take a picture of it later. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'll take a picture of it later.
Like snap. Hey guys.
I still think we ought to go to that school. I just killed the girl.
Yeah, it's speaking of going to the school, I spend a lot of time at my aunt's house, which is literally right across the street. The street is not very big.
Your haunted aunt's house.
My aunt's house is haunted also.
Haunted.
But I mean, that could be that whole area there too, because there's a lot of shit that's going on in that particular area. And that area isn't exactly the safest place either. There's a lot of robberies and stuff like that go on in that area.
Let me know when you want to do an EVP, man.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that.
I'll scare him off for you.
I'm not fucking around, man.
I'll protect you, baby girl. It's all right.
Well, I mean, schedules need to match up, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I really think we should do that, man. I'm honest.
Honestly, I think we should do it too. But again,
we
need to figure out time because I mean, we need to go there at some point, like early in the morning, around 1 o'clock. 4 o'clock in the morning, be there around that time. That would be the best time to do it. I'm not talking daytime and shit like that.
Sunset.
No, you want 3 o'clock, the quote unquote witching hour. Yeah, when shit happens, you know.
For strength.
Now, is that 3 o'clock in the morning daylight savings time or standard time?
Well, that's why I said 1 to 4. So let's cover our bases there.
Gotcha.
Clever bitch.
So regarding that school, there was a incident that happened. I'm going to say I was maybe 13, 14 years old. Maybe.
Of course.
13 again, right? Yes. We're resorting back to the year old of 13. Roland saying I'm 13 in every fucking episode.
In everything. 13 was a fucked up year for you, Ray.
Before we continue on with my story, I'm going to play the story that Ernie talked about.
Oh, yeah.
So we can listen to that. Give me just a second here.
Fun split.
The whole story?
No. It's like a few minutes.
The magic of radio.
Have you listened to any of Ray's recording with Ernie? Yeah.
I listened to all of it today when I was running the lawnmower. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's good stuff.
No, I mean, it's just a little long.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I guess I'll first talk about the encounter I had at Betecavasa. At the time, I was teaching martial arts in the gym there because they ran out of room at the Boys and Girls Club. So, things were going pretty well the first week or two. It was just that one instance one day when I was opening it up where all of a sudden I'm going to the bathroom because I got to turn all the lights on and of course, the bathroom lights are on the other side of the building. So I'm literally walking into darkness, let alone there's a two-way mirror on the other side to make it even more fucking creepy. So I rush my ass over there as fast as I can. But while I'm doing that, while I'm getting to the entrance, I mean, it's just an open entrance to the bathroom. I just see this like speck of white. It felt like a drop, but it wasn't a drop. But it was like a huge white type of aura, or whatever you want to call it. Just like I thought it was like gonna like drop on my shoulder and like freak out. But you know, all of a sudden nothing was there. So I was like, all right, whatever. I take off, lights on, come back. As soon as I get to that one area again, there it comes. And I thought I was going like, it's just me. It has to be me. I'm going crazy. Like there's no, I mean, what can possibly, you know, what am I doing? Am I just like imagining this or, you know, whatever. But it was weird because then when one of the students had to go to, when one of the students, they were going in there to the dressing rooms also, the kid, right where that area is, one of the kids just flinched. He flipped and he just like jumped back. And I'm like, crap, I go like, no. So that was like my confirmation that it's not just me. It's like, it's not me. Go, there's something here. Like, it's fucked up because every time, and then it happened every day from now on, I would just see that little orb, that white thing drop, and then all the other kids too. And they would like be like, what's that? What is it? And of course, I'm not going to, you know, I don't know if these kids know anything about paranormal activity or you know, like,
those are the apparitions that haunt the school.
I just like, but you know, like I don't know what to tell them. Like, just ignore it. It's nothing, you know. I mean, you're not the one that has to shit your pants when you're trying to turn everything off at fucking when everything goes off. You're not the one that has to turn everything off, you know. I don't want to like scare them more. Like, oh man, it's haunted here. And I'm pretty sure they know there's some stories about what happened over there, but of course, no parent wants to tell their kid, you know, you're in a haunted gym. And and it sucked that night when I had to go to the breaker, which was in this creepy ass room in the way back of the other gym. And so I'd have to time it to find some and try to find some hope of light. I just haul ass. And let me let you know, I was in my 20s at the time, so you know, black belt. But shit, when I see creepy shit, yeah, I'm like a white belt, and, you know, call me a pussy, I don't care. That's pretty much what I'm going to be, because once I see crap like that, it's over. And what's even more creepy, I decided to explore one day by myself, like, oh, what else is, I mean, I had the whole access to the gym, so I'm going to see what's going on, these double doors over here. And go and see these old desks, old tables, and I'm like, man, it's pretty creepy. That wasn't what fucking creeped me out the most. There was a crib, an old baby's crib. As I opened the back door, it was like a baby's crib by itself. Now, I didn't want to stay there long enough to know that if it's moving or hear baby sounds or cries, but I know it was there. And I know I took Ray over there also because I know he wanted to get a little taste of what it was, and I don't know what you think about that.
Well, I remember you telling me the story, and of course, my curiosity is pretty high when it comes to those kinds of things. And I remember you finishing your class, and after I think everyone had left already, you were kind of just like putting stuff away, and then you go, hey, why don't you go check out the back there? And I was like, yeah, sure. And just as before I even got to the entrance, I just saw blackness down the whatever it was, like the locker room.
Yeah,
right?
locker room. Yeah.
And I was just like I kind of cringed a little bit. And I was like, maybe this was a mistake. So I did go in there I did walk in there, but as I was walking through, I mean, I could see like desks overturned, and you hear the droplets of water. Very like cliche scenario of a horror movie. And as I just walked a little further, I got this really uneasy feeling, and I turned around. I did not go any further, but I saw what you had described, like that white.
Yeah.
I saw that too. That didn't freak me out. I was just like, well, maybe I got some kind of weird cataracts thing going on in my ears. But just the uneasy feeling in the actual locker room area, again, because it just looks like a cliche horror movie scene of an abandoned school, desks turned over, papers on the floor, wet spots, dirty. Like it just looked gross.
And that's
scary.
because
it looked gross and scary.
That's because also I told you on the other section, I go, let's go to the locker room. And you saw that old big ass fan there. You're like, nah, man, I'm gonna pass on that. I was like, come on, man, there'll be a chicken pod. I mean, I went through it too, and believe me, it's creepy, man. It's creepy as fuck. I like you said, the cliche of a horror movie. I looked in there. There were lockers open. The rotating fan. Just I don't know what was rotating it because there was no power back there, but it was rotating. Something was rotating it. And yeah, man.
I mean, just to make matters worse, I mean, of course, I can't be put in a situation like that without someone like trying to fuck with me. So I remember you said, that you had to turn off the light.
Yeah.
And then you had to get to the exit. You had to like almost run across the gym to get to the exit. And that was the only light, which is the light coming through the doorway. And I think you just from what I remember is because it was almost like a blur. You turned off the fucking light and bolted to the fucking door. And I was like, wait. Of course, I'm not going to run as fast as you. Of course, you know that. Yeah. So you go to the fucking door. I think you closed it for like a few seconds. I was like, let me out. Because that place was fucking scary, man.
Well, that's just like the scenario, man. I mean, of course I'm going to leave you behind, man. You said that yourself, that if there was any type of apocalyptic event, and you'd shoot my ass and let whatever zombie or
I wouldn't shoot
kill
you.
Me.
I trip you. I don't want to hurt you. I'll let someone else hurt you.
Yeah, but I'm still fucked either way. You might as well shoot me. I have no chance of living after that. So.
Hello there. Sorry for another interruption, but unfortunately we had a little bit of an audio difficulty when we were originally recording this portion of the episode. So I'm going to go over the story, my own personal story regarding a haunted school, so to speak. And this is a story about the school Berta Cavazza Middle School. And so here's my own personal encounter with the unexplained. Like so many times before, my family gathered for food and drink. If I recall properly, my uncle had just come home from shrimping, so there was a plentiful amount of seafood to go around. By the time the incident occurred, bellies were full and most of the adults were drunk. It was about 2 or 3 a.m. I don't recall the time too well. All the kids were outside playing hide and go seek. Being early in the morning and the sun still hours away from rising, there were plenty of hiding places around the neighborhood and around the school Berta Cavazza, which was right across the street. I can say for certain that there were, at the very least, 10 of us that experienced the occurrence. In the midst of all the hiding and the person who was considered it, there was silence. After all, if you made a noise, it would make it that much easier for the person searching for everyone to find you. While I was hiding, I remember someone calling out, "Hey, do you hear that?" Everyone thought it was just a ruse for everyone to come out of the hiding and the game would be over. I was on the side of the house, crouching in the corner near the fence, and I could see someone hiding in the tree near me. I wasn't going to move, and didn't want to lose the game. And someone called out again, "Can you hear that? It sounds like it's coming from the banhole." And then saw the person in the tree get down, so I figured the game must be over. So as everyone was making their way to the front of the house, to make this clear, the school was situated right across the street from my aunt's house. So any noise coming from the school could easily be heard, not just by us, but by the whole surrounding neighborhood. From my recollection, there weren't any neighbors outside at this time of night that could verify what was about to happen. All the kids, including myself, and a few adults stood in front of the house with a bit of confusion. We could hear what sounded like a flute playing coming from the banhole, and it was loud. It sounded amplified. Everyone was in disbelief at first and attempted to find the source of the noise. We walked up and down the street, around the house, nothing. It sounded like it was coming from the direction of the banhole, which was at the corner left in front of the school, directly across from where we were. Of course, everyone agreeing that the source of the noise was coming from the banhole wasn't enough to get us creeped out and walk away. We wanted to see what was making the noise, if possible. Considering the time, that would have been impossible since the school was locked up. We hadn't seen anyone walk into the school through the front entrance, and if we had, that would have crept us out even more. I personally was getting creeped out, but not enough to go inside and forget what was happening. So I stayed and listened to the adults and the older kids determine what they were going to do next. Someone then decided we should try and communicate with it. Being from the Rio Grande Valley, you're always warned not to communicate with ghosts, but fuck it, why not? Nothing was going to happen since there were so many of us. How to communicate was the question, and the answer was to whistle at it. At this time, we could hear the flute playing. We didn't hear it non-stop. It was almost as if someone was practicing in the band hall at 3 a.m. in a locked school. So one of the older kids designated himself the person to communicate. So he whistled some random tune, and it whistled the exact same thing back. That creeped everyone out, but there was a sense of excitement. This happened a few more times with the thing whistling back. And like before, this wasn't good enough. Everyone had to get closer. So a few of the older kids, my mother, my aunt, decided to cross the street and try to see if there was a ghost that could be seen. I'm told to stay behind because it was unsafe. Whatever. So I was to be shackled to the porch, which was kind of a bummer. So I just watched everyone head that way. Everyone gathered in a group and crept onto the school property with hesitation and with a sense of excitement. What were they going to see? Would they see anything? If they saw something, what if they saw something? They didn't get but a few feet onto the property when the communicator stomped his foot and yelled out a blood-curdling scream. And everyone stopped in their tracks, simultaneously screamed, and ran back to the house. Everyone had a good laugh, but no one denied the fact that they heard a noise coming from the band hall. The next step was to walk around the campus to see if they might see someone. Everyone agreed that that might not be the best thing considering the neighborhood we were in. So a few people got in a car and drove around the school. There was nothing and no one. At some point, the noise stopped. Then at some point, everyone went home. This wouldn't be the last incident to occur near the school, in the neighborhood, or my aunt's house. Okay, so the next story I'm going to share is from Desiree, who is the host of the Stoned and Spooked podcast. You should check out her podcast. She's on Spotify, iTunes, and I'm pretty sure some other places as well. She reviews horror movies. So you want to get stoned and get spooked? You should check her out. So here we go. This is one of her high school ghost stories. I went to a high school in the Denver metro area and was part of the stage productions as either a stagehand or an actor for the most time in high school. We would frequently see shadows walking or standing in the audio booth when no one had been there and the doors were still locked. Things would fall from the catwalk, or creaks would come from the catwalk as though someone was walking up there. The drama teacher would turn off all the lights and lock all the doors after practice, and, driving away, we would see the lights flick back on. A couple of times, music came on by itself from the audio booth, or the spotlights would go haywire. It could have been some really bad electrical, or wild teen imaginations. Being the meddler that I am, a few friends and I put flour on the floor leading to the catwalk, where students weren't allowed to go, and we later got word that it was found by the drama teacher, but had been dragged across the floor by what looked like fingerprints. No footprints. This was secondhand information told to me by another person in stage production, so not sure how true that was, but it freaked me out enough to stop trying to be cool and ghost hunt.
Bryce, you have something here called C.E. Vale Elementary?
Roland. Yeah, that was actually started in the 1920s. It was crazy. My dad went to high school there, but they converted it into elementary school, which I went to.
Wow.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be the buzzkill, I guess, of this podcast. I never had any experiences there. There's a lot of stories, though. No, I didn't. I'm sorry, man. I didn't. But I've heard a lot of stories. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, guys. No. You know what, Ray? If I should be the skeptic of this podcast, like fucking.
No, so the irony to that is that none of us believe in any of this crap.
Oh, Ray, well,
no. Like here's the thing,
ahead.
Bryce.
Lay down the knowledge.
If you're gonna be the skeptic, I mean, like I'm gonna say like I'm a skeptic.
I'm just okay. Like I've never really had any strong paranormal, and I'm saying I wouldn't want it. I've just never had it. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you right now. Like
I would love
have
a ghost to poke me in the butt or like fucking get abducted.
I have a very
I saw some
objective
light
view
in the
about
sky. I was
this.
like,
Some love.
please, I saw a light in the sky. I was like, please let it be a fucking UFO.
Right.
Abduct me because I don't want to live this life anymore.
No.
Fucking pull me up in the tractor
dude.
beam. Yeah, I would love to
Hey,
be like the
take me
chosen one,
away.
fucking hybrid shit.
I come back and I get that fucking like
Take me
what is
away.
it called?
Day. No, okay. Anyway, Seaville. It was
collect a check from the government for the rest of your life.
well,
to shut the
While you're
fuck up.
being
Fucking
fucking
collected-
abducted by aliens? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'll check a
How
check.
the fuck you gonna collect a government,
I would take
government
a-
check if you're not even
They're
fucking
gonna
on
be
Earth,
like, Hey,
motherfucker?
you're special. We need to watch
silence you. I would take a check from the aliens, man. That's how I would fucking be.
Galactic dollars?
Like Galactic dollars. Yeah.
Galac bucks.
Illuminati style, man. Anyways, Seaville.
Hip hop.
Yeah, Hip Hop Anonymous. Seaville was founded in 1920. It was a high school at that point. More middle school. It became a high school. My dad went to high school there. The story goes that the gym, which is demolished now, was built actually on a cemetery. There's a lot of stories that a woman or a girl that went there to committed suicide in 1970. They keep saying 1978. That's the story. Official story is 1978. I tried to find some historical records of that. I can't find anything.
No.
But a lot of stories exist that if you wander the halls or before the gym got demolished, that if you wandered there was a girl that would come to you with a noose and all that kind of stuff. Or there was these two girls,
So, like propositioning you to commit suicide.
maybe,
also, or
man,
something, or-
erotic asphyxiation, maybe perhaps.
Just like, you ever heard of Debbie Carradine?
There's a lot of story. Well, yeah,
No.
no. This was before that, man.
Never.
Way before that. You mean the Kung Fu series?
The avant-garde Rosses.
Kill Bill?
Never. White Crane.
Yeah, I mean, this is before all that, but there's also like these two twins, both 10 years old, that would inhabit the gym. But, I mean, honestly, man, I've never experienced anything there. I can remember when I was a kid going to it.
Twins are bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of rumors. You can find a lot of this online. Ghosts of America, Shadowlands. You can see all that there. I tried to find some substantiating history of the suicide, but I couldn't find it. But it's an old building. Usually that's where the supposed hauntings happen. But I don't know, man. We should go back there sometime, Ray. It's more of an administration building now. They don't even have school there anymore. It's more like where they keep records and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting to go back there.
Well, I mean, I would like to go
Sounds
back
like
to
fun.
any of these places that we've talked about and maybe check it out.
Well, it sounds like what is it, Cabasa?
Better Cabasa.
Better Cabasa?
Berta Kilbasa.
not Calabasa.
Calabasa con pollo.
The pumpkin. No. It sounds like it's straight up abandoned.
Well, I think
that seems
the
like
main.
we
I
could
think
sneak
the
on
main
there.
building. Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to sneak. Well, the thing is,
Quote unquote, sneak on.
It's not gated in any way, like
Oh,
the entrance of the school. I mean, you can look in the windows and stuff like that. And I mean, like I said, I've told Roland this before, and we've kind of like talked
Did they
about
have
this.
a playground
Mm,
or a track?
Well, they have a stadium in the back, but it's all locked up now.
Oh, that's locked up.
yeah, all that's locked up now. Like no one
Well,
can
no,
go
I
back
mean, see,
there.
these are things that would give you a reason to be wandering around on the property and not look really suspicious.
An
Well, then again,
excuse.
the playground
well,
might.
if they're not gonna have it, if they're not gonna have it locked up, I say that's their fault.
Yeah. Hey, even better.
I haven't been there in years.
That's what we want.
I'll go by there and check to see if they actually let people still walk
some
around the
fun.
track.
Yeah.
Because if they walk around the track,
They can go into the gym.
not that they can go to the
your
gym.
buddy Ernie would go running.
Yeah, but that was like a while ago.
Yeah, but all the same, like
The thing is, the fence, you can easily like just get across it because it's not a high fence. It's like a fucking normal size fence. You can just jump across it,
people fence.
walk around to the back, and check out the school from the outside. You can't really go inside because that's locked up.
And that's trespassing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where we should have fun.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like security
Trespassing.
around there and stuff like that because, like I said,
The boat
there are
riders,
people that work there, but like in the
skeleton crew, whatever.
no.
Administrators.
The administrators in the buildings on the outside. But I mean I haven't seen any activity there for a while, so I mean I couldn't tell you for sure.
Go scope it out, Ray.
Check it out.
Scout back to us.
I took one of those haunted hearse tours of Austin one time, man.
Ooh.
Well, I did the ghost hunt of San Antonio too,
Yeah,
and that was pretty cool too.
that was.
Yeah.
The haunted hearse tour was pretty cool. He took us to like there's the first insane asylum of Texas. That's open to the public. You can go there. It's pretty cool.
You just walk in.
Yeah, it's all. It actually still is a functioning mental institution. They don't use the old building anymore per se, but it's really cool. It's sort of like a museum. They have pictures of like all the stuff they used to do there. Man, it was really interesting. Like they had old black and white pictures of people like curled up in a fetal position because like it was not the greatest. Even today, mental health is not like the mental health institutions aren't that great, but back in the 1920s or whatever. That's in Austin. It was really interesting, man. You can go down to the basement where they used to they said that, well, this is what according to the guy that conducted the tours, they would keep like the worst of the worst down there, like the screamers and everything. Mm-hmm. That was really creepy. It's just a basement. It's all like green tile floors now. They still have the cells there, but I guess they don't have people in it obviously anymore, but that was pretty creepy going down there.
Sounds pretty nifty.
Yeah, the ghost walk of San Antonio, pretty much you go straight, you start off at the Alamo, and then like you have like the last time I went, they had like 2 people that would take you on different tours and walk you around downtown area, like of the haunted areas. But what's funny is that those at the very end of it, there's a guy who has almost like a PKA meter from Ghostbusters.
Really?
And it's funny because the guy fucking says this. You ready for this? The guy fucking says this shit.
He's hanging full dong.
Like how, or he had that, but he also had like the thermometer?
Yeah.
And he fucking he tells people if it gets really cold it's because like there's maybe like spirits around, and he gives it to people to like try it out around the area, right? One of the guys was like looking around. He's like, oh, the temperature just dropped back to normal. Like it rose to like normal temperature. And he's like, what does that mean? He's like, I don't know, man. I guess the ghost left. And he kept on fucking talking to like someone else.
No, I got something worse. The guy that I did the tour with in Austin, he stopped this one Indian restaurant. He said the fucking top of it's a 2-story building.
So when you say Indian, do you mean Indian?
No, Indian, not Native American, but it's Indian. And it's okay. Here's what's funny. So he takes to the top floor. Yeah. It's a 2-story building. He's like, all this shit happened on top. I was like, all right, whatever, And he starts fucking doing magic tricks with like a car. He's like, oh, pick this car. Like he didn't want to do anymore the tour. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, pick this fucking car. And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? So I did. He's like, oh, yeah, that's cool, man.
Is this your card?
Yeah. He's like, well, all right.
Congratulations,
he's
you're
like, well, he's like, that's it. Yeah, I know, man. It's so stupid. He's like, well, that's the end of the tour.
I'm not an
He's
asshole.
like, here's a couple of coupons to this Indian restaurant. Apparently, they like pay him like to fucking promote it. I was like, God damn, this is horrible,
you get a coupon,
man.
You win. Like, what the fuck?
It was pretty bad, man. But
next time you get 20% off, buddy.
He did drive a legitimate hearse, man. But that was funny. He would drive us around, and at the time, my girlfriend was like, "Well, can we bring a cooler? Can we bring like a cooler on there? Because like a BYOB."
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, how much did y'all drink?" And I was like, "Oh, not
enough. Not enough.
Enough to make this tour interesting."
Yeah. Party. Fun.
Okay, so we're gonna bring this to an end, but before we do that, we're gonna talk quickly about the Area 51 raid, which we had mentioned last episode.
Big steamy pile.
I'm very disappointed in all those. Like, there was only one guy that Naruto ran. Man.
Yeah, right.
Well, I recommend
behind the cameras.
Yeah, I suggested we go raid
somebody giving a
Wesco UFO house, but nobody fucking
no one showed up to that one either.
I know. I was a little disappointed. Ray,
I was telling you guys earlier. It was like
I had to work.
It was like a Creed
It was
concert.
100 people that showed up tops, and
the first night, yeah. Like
it was scheduled for 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm. I watched
Friday
a few streams I watched a few streams, Friday morning of them farting around in there. I was telling these guys.
One guy got arrested for peeing on at the gate.
And another girl was trying to cross, and some people were playing cornhole. There was a Coors.
Well, you see, here's the problem.
They didn't practice their ninjutsu too well.
There's only like 3 or 4 people that actually showed up to actually raid Area 51. Everyone else out of those 100 people were just there to watch the scene
Yeah, exactly.
of people
You-
raiding Area
you mean
51 and getting smacked down by
watching those people getting
the
gunned
hard
down?
fist of the government.
Yeah.
So I was,
Sorry.
there was a
Totally hijacked that.
YouTube stream of like
No, that's
35,000 motherfucking lamos doing, watching a fucking video of nothing absolutely
Ray.
nothing happening.
Would you be willing to get gunned down
Yes, you would.
to expose the truth about Area 51?
Yes, you would.
Like, let's say it was.
Ray.
Wait. When do I get gunned down?
Wait a minute.
Okay, I'm saying like. Okay, Ray.
Do I get gunned down with an alien on my back, or like am I just like running into the fucking building?
Yeah,
like an
there's
asshole?
those.
Hypothetically,
those
let's
fucking-
say like.
you're running like a fucking cheetah, and that fucking
Ray, would
baby
you
let's
rather
say, like,
die with an
hypothetically, let's
alien
say-
on your back or
No.
crashing a UFO?
No, I'm not
holding
even
on for
talking
dear
about that.
life.
No, Ray. I'm not even
That's how
talking
you
about
expose
that.
the truth.
Yes, it is. But like, let's say
And you're just
hypothetically,
there
like
X-Files
everyone in
was
this room,
real.
everyone in this room showed up to Area 51 due to the raid. No one else was there. Like you're not, but like Thelma and Louise, like we're all fucking like, let's just keep going, Ray. And you're like,
No,
Ray, and let's fucking go, and we get gunned down. Would you be willing to do that?
No. I would only get gunned down if I had already infiltrated. I'm running out with some kind of
So
evidence.
you
and
wouldn't
then
be
I
willing to
shot
get gunned down and show the corruption
Like
of the fucking
some
U.S. government?
Aliens on your back with
No, I-
stone
that
up
They
your
would gun
ass.
down a U.S.
Definitive
citizen.
proof.
I could have done that from the fucking. Don't even have to do that.
From the
I
X-Files
just have to
parody porn?
read David Icke and show the corruption of the government.
I don't
With
even
his new
think-
book, Trigger.
that
just came out.
Controversial.
Oh, yeah.
Copyright law.
Now, to be fair,
Ray, I don't even know if you get. I don't even know if you get gunned down running up to the fucking
You
White House,
deserve
man.
it.
You get probably knocked down by the fucking Secret Service.
right?
but-
You don't get gunned down at Area 51 either. The camo dudes
sure?
just that you don't.
They just
Are you kidding me?
camo
They're
dudes,
fucking.
they just
The people
arrest
who were there
you.
were fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And no one was even trying to jump the
They're-
fucking
they're not gonna-
barrier.
they're not
or
gonna
anything.
get-
There is no barrier.
They're not
That's
gonna-
the thing.
No, I know,
The
that's right.
barrier's way up there. The camo dudes get you.
Did
way
you see?
before
Did you
that.
see the? Did you see the bar
They're
that was
polite
there?
as fuck.
Oh, they
too.
actually put a
They
bar.
tell you
Those
straight
are
to your
the-
face.
Right,
They're
they
like,
put the
"Look, guys,
roadblock
They
up.
to put the
If you
roadblock up.
come
No one tried
over
to jump
here-
that.
Ray, they would have hit you with.
We can
sound-
shoot you.
Ray, they would have hit you with the sound weapons.
Yeah.
They don't
Probably.
even. They don't.
You would have got hit with the brown note.
Yes,
way before.
thank
You
you. I
would
was
have
about
shit
to
in
say
your
you're gonna
pants,
hit with
man.
the fucking brown note.
Are you telling me like as I'm jumping the barrier?
you would've
are
shit
you?
in your
You're gonna
pants.
jump the barrier and you're just shit in your pants running.
For
And you're
anything
gonna
less
fucking tumble
than
into that.
for anything less than
And end up in
probably
your own feces.
150 people, they've got enough personnel to deal with you without using anything exotic
Yeah,
other than
no.
pushing you down,
Maybe some rubber
face
bullets.
down,
With 150
Some
people.
facing the
Bear mace.
cactus.
Oh man, 150 people.
Well, shit.
Yeah,
ask-
Ray,
Roland,
all right,
Roland,
get another
would
Facebook
you?
group
Would
going,
you
man. Let's
like?
do it.
Would you get gunned down?
No, I wouldn't get gunned down. I'd get arrested maybe for pissing in front of them or some kind of dumb
On the
shit
gate?
Like that. Yeah. I'm just like, oh look,
You
I'm
have to
here.
fucking be taking a dump or something.
I have the call to nature.
I guess the thing is, my
They're gonna
question is,
stun gun
well,
his
what
asshole.
point? At what point are they? Willing,
so I'm gonna be taking a piss. They're gonna stun me, and I'm gonna shit
You
myself.
you'd probably get fucking electrified by the fence that you
It was-
pissed on.
it's
man.
involuntary.
First of all,
You know what? That's true.
if you were to get
That's
past,
true. I will get zapped by the fence before I would get stunned by the.
I guess the
cops,
question is,
by the
For me, is like,
military.
at what point do you think that the government's willing to use lethal force?
they don't have to.
No, they don't.
No.
No.
You're talking about
cripple your
3,000
ass.
people that they were gonna fucking
will
use?
just-
All right, hold
You're
on.
gonna have a
This
fucking
is
group
this
of
is
morons.
Area
I mean,
51,
hypothetically,
Groom
'cause-
Lake,
Hypothetically.
Groom Dry Lake Bed, where they've flown the SR-71,
Fucking
the
beanbags.
U-2 spy plane,
Brick
the
everybody's
A-12 ox
kneecaps.
cart. All those things are out there. If there's alien technology, it's in a mountain. Now, our government doesn't like to lose stuff. Right?
We're greedy as fuck.
And we had these guys we were really worried about
Absolutely.
launching nuclear missiles at us, called the Soviets. Are 3,000 people going to be able to get through a blast door,
No.
even with tools?
No.
Even then, you just go up, pick them off one by one. They won't be halfway through that blast
going
door by the
anywhere.
time you've gotten all of them arrested.
It's a fucking.
You don't got to
joke.
kill anyone.
Yeah. No.
I
Crippled
mean,
to live.
that would just
That'd be
have
pretty,
more
It'd be fun to watch.
news coverage.
Yeah, it'll be a huge
Well,
news
no,
coverage,
because that would
so,
actually
because-
be
Only
at
reason-
at
51.
Area
Only
51. The
reason
news
why I
wouldn't
watch
get there.
Any of those fucking Area 51 streams. They're fun to watch. Fucking idiots.
Now, I'd love to see one dude just go running,
Right.
live streaming, camera
Right.
strapped to his forehead, live
I'm
streaming
making it, guys.
as he
I'm
makes a
almost there.
run for
I'm
it.
doing it.
They're not going to shoot him, but you'll get to see him get tackled face down into some cactus probably.
Yeah.
You know, he has the best chance. One person going all out.
100% chance of getting your ass whipped.
Oh, no, that's a given, 100%. But he might see something interesting. But then again, they got all those motion sensors, with pheromone sensors. You ain't gonna see anything.
No,
they don't got to kill you either.
So basically, the Area 51 raid was
I'm disappointed.
fail.
Yeah.
I mean, you might be able to like see the blast door. That'd be really cool. But they're not gonna, you know, they don't have to kill you. They don't have to worry about anything. All the really cool stuff they flew out of there anyway. If they couldn't get it in those secure hangars or blast-proof areas, they just flew it out. It's the Air Force and the CIA.
Well, okay, so
I'm very passionate about this.
Okay, so I guess we'll bring this episode to a close now.
Disappoint me, you raid Area 51 people.
Mind you, we're recording this the day, technically after it was supposed to start.
Yeah,
So September 21st.
very
that we're
fresh
recording.
in my mind.
Yeah. So
We also didn't raid the UFO Westico house, man.
we didn't, but
Yeah,
I mean, we
disappointing.
said not that we weren't going to do that necessarily.
We did.
Remember, we said not to bother them. They're peaceful people.
I guess we're disappointing, just like the fucking Nevada raid.
Well, no one even like stood in front of the gate and said, "Let me in."
Well,
They
we're
probably
coinciding
let
with
you
the
in
other
and
fucking
maybe
thing, the
talk
fire
about
festival.
UFOs.
Ray, he's right. Did you ever try to contact those people, man?
I know. Did you?
I don't know how to contact those motherfuckers, dude.
Well, neither do I.
You know what? Let's do it, Ray.
We'll call them.
No.
Have their people call
You and I, let's go to the gate.
We're gonna go to the
Honk
gate.
the horn. Ray, I'm willing to do this, man. You live in San Benito.
No,
I live
no, hold on. Before we do that, before we even think about doing that, let's get 3 large pizzas. Then we'll go to the gate.
And what? Throw the
no.
frisbees?
Well, it'd be like a peace offering.
Peace officer. I don't think they like those words, man. I don't think they like
Peace
those words,
offering.
dude.
Peace
I don't think
offering.
those words.
We'll say, can we come in and we can talk to you about UFOs and stuff like that?
Your beliefs.
And here's
But Ray,
yes, we'll talk about your beliefs and here's some food as a peace offering. So
are we still recording?
yes,
yeah.
we are.
But Ray, are you full of shit?
Are
what I
you?
want. No, let's do it.
Then let's do it. We're getting some pizza though. The pizza's right next door. Remember, we said we're gonna like get them to fund the raid.
Yes, let's do it. I think Pizza would do it, man. I think they'd be.
You think so?
Yeah.
Let's ask him.
Fire Festival UGRV, man. URG, whatever RGV. I don't like. Are you gonna go with us to raid UFO house?
We're gonna get 3 large pizzas, and then stand at their gate and
Might need
offer
4 now.
Give me some booze.
4 large pizzas. We're gonna
One
get-
from each of you,
yeah.
plus 1 for them.
4 large. Yeah. We're not Jamie, man.
Right.
No. You've got to also have
How
variety.
much?
Yeah.
But you each bring one.
One
That way
large
you
pizza.
don't show up.
Wait.
Ray, I'm thinking
One
of this
topping
like
or
I'm
2
thinking of
or
this like a
3?
business deal. Ray,
Probably need at least 3.
Deep douche.
3 toppings.
3 toppings minimum.
All different?
Ray.
Are we throwing like pepperoni in each one of
I
them?
want
and, like,
mushrooms.
various.
Anybody picks pineapples, you're going to hell.
No.
What if the UFO cult
Ex-
people like
Really?
pineapple?
I love pineapple. I don't give
God damn it.
Hey.
y'all.
Christ.
Fuck you all.
Hey,
God
Fuck
damn
you all. I don't
Hey.
give a
Really?
shit. Pineapple's
we're not-
God's fruit.
I'm not. I'm not asking
it.
you.
On a pizza?
Yes.
First of all,
Giving me to our the Hawaiian gods. I don't give a
First
shit.
of all,
There's a
But
lie to you.
we don't.
Gods
give a,
of the
we don't give a
Pacific,
fuck with Roland.
Easter Island.
Son. We want to know what the fucking people.
Ray, okay,
At the
like,
UFO.
look,
Time
Ray,
operation
Ray, okay, here's the
called
real
want.
question I have for you.
Mushrooms and pepperoni.
Shut up.
I love mushrooms. I'm not big on pepperoni, but I love mushrooms. Ray,
Fuck.
I want to look at this as a business deal.
That were cool.
I want to look at this as a business deal because I will most certainly go to jail. But the question is, I will jump that fence. And I want to know if you provide me with some
worth it.
if you provide me with copious amounts of alcohol, I will jump the fence. But I want to know how much stake do I have in Mokuest Studios?
Pineapple
When
is
you
worth
get
it.
famous, how much of that money am I gonna get, dude?
Internet
That's what I don't know.
famous.
Well, shit. I'm gonna tell you right now. Roland's getting like 1%.
Yeah. Yeah, I was given.
0.5.
Yeah. Wow. I was thinking. I was being kind of generous with myself. I was like, 5%.
Actually,
5% was a good run.
You've
Because I've asked him several times.
You've contributed music,
Gosh.
so that just upped your stake already.
5%.
I'll give you 5%.
Wow.
Nickel. Awesome.
I mean, Roland right now is getting 0.5%.
You're so valuable.
Oh, I guess so. I told him it's like because I always told
Hey, that rounds
Ray
up.
because I'd always see.
Thank you, Brian.
Here's the thing, man. I'd always see Jamie come to the Barnes and
It's just an
Noble.
arbitrary number. Like
I'd always see Jamie
I
come to
know.
work. Like, what the fuck is Jamie doing here? Like, what is he having you sign the checks for the paycheck, the payroll?
Basically.
Everyone's getting a penny. You're getting like 5 cents. Like,
Actually, I'm getting $1.
oh shit.
Wow.
And then Roland, peso.
Coop,
I got a ruble.
$1 off grande or latte. Grande or
Cool. It's something I hate.
Actually, it's
Thanks.
technically more than one.
All right,
We'll give you some coffee.
I get him a cup of
Ugh.
coffee. Like he's like, I hate coffee.
Disgusting.
I'm like, drink it.
Yes, the best to pour out. You asshole.
Okay, so
That's my pay.
let's end this episode. This is Valley Strange episode number 2, Haunted Schools. I am your host Ray.
This is Roland.
Bryan.
Bryce.
Ray's and they
Not
Drunk.
as professional as the last one, but
Drunk to no end and
getting drunker by the second.
fuck Roland.
We've still got whiskey.
And then the episode.
It's good.
Little midgets come into my house. It's ridiculous. The guy who had some kind of a rectal probe. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Okay, thank Christ we brought this episode to a close. We want to thank everyone for listening, and remember, if you want to support us and what we do here at Mokuest Studios, the simplest way is to share, subscribe, and leave a review on iTunes, Google Podcasts, and any other podcast streaming platform. If none of these are your bag, you can follow us on Spotify. We're there now. Please check out all our other podcasts. We have Anatomy Mixtape, Fat Food for Fat People, and Cinequest Video. If you're interested in any of those topics, which is food, music, or movies, check those out. And make sure, if you want to support us even more, you can pick a tier on Patreon. We're at Patreon at Mokuest Studios. Oh, I'm sorry. Patreon.com/Mokuest Studios. Give to any tier, and you'll have plenty of content to sift through. A lot of unedited episodes, early release episodes, and Patreon exclusives, which there are a few on there, and we will not release those to the public because no way. And again, that's all for now, but we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. And before we sign off for good, we want to thank Ernie for coming by and sharing his stories. I know it's kind of difficult for him sometimes to do that, and I appreciate him making the time, coming on over and recording these things in person. And we also want to thank Desiree from the Spooked and Stoned podcast for sharing her story, and hopefully she can share more in the future. If she has any more, I really don't know. But also check out her podcast too. I listen to it on Spotify. I'm assuming you can check it out on iTunes or any other podcast streaming platforms. But show some support. If you like those horror movies and you like to get stoned, check out her podcast.